Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and thanks for stopping by. Welcome to RGV Aerial Photography's deep dive into images he captured this week around the shipyard and launch site in Boca Chica, Texas. Our dedicated team will guide you through with the latest updates and theories at Starbase, Texas. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for future streams.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Starbase Photo Review. My name is Mauricio, otherwise known as RGV, and good morning, good afternoon, and I'll be passing this along to Indy Star.
Hi everybody, it's Indian Star. We are excited to show you all the photos that Mauricio took yesterday during his flyover, and we want to start off this session with a couple of thank yous. We want to welcome Lori Chatterton, Jim Cavett, and Jeff Weiss. They are RGV supporters, and we appreciate your support. I'll hand it over to GPJ. Grandpa Joe?
Hey guys, it's Grandpa Joe. Great to join you for another live stream and another exciting week down at SpaceX. A lot to cover this week. Looking forward to it. Over to
Thomas.
Hello, this is Thomas. Hello, Starbase, Texas. I'm glad to be back here again. This is always great. So I'm moderator, commentator at Lab Padre, and here now as a commentator with RGV2. So it's gonna be been exciting past couple of weeks, and you guys have been doing this. We're now episode 10 now. Is this right? This is going pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're rolling along, consistent at noon on Saturday.
Yeah. Next up, Golden Boy, you still there?
Yes, sir. How's it going, everybody? Good to see you guys. It's this is Zach Golden, aka Golden Boy, and I'm just really excited to be here. It was a bit of a stressful week waiting on this full stack to happen, but I can't really talk. I did it from the couch, but Mauricio actually had to do it from Starbase, so I feel a little bad for you, Mauricio. I know it's been a long week for you as well too, so appreciate you being here, and I appreciate everybody in the audience being here. I hope you guys are ready for another Starbase photography review, and we do have a lot to cover, as Thomas said. This one's gonna be a little different because we have a lot of different. Mauricio took a lot of different pictures this week. He took some from the air. He obviously took some from the ground, and then he had his pictures that he took while he was at the Starbase review, or Starship review. Sorry. And I think that's a good place for us to start. What do you say, Mauricio? Do you want to go through those pictures really quick?
Yes, that would be great. And just so everybody knows, we're going to be reviewing the photos for the flyover, which includes the full stack and some ground photos that were taken. Where were these taken? They were taken 2 days ago. And for those that joined us, the members, make sure you download the file. You can actually download the files in the comment section of for the YouTube members. So just make sure you do that so you can follow along.
There was something else about, you said some desktop wallpaper pictures being exclusive only during this stream. Is that right?
Correct. So we're going to be releasing those sometime throughout the stream. So just stick around for that. And they're exclusive. So we haven't dropped these. Well, of course, YouTube members have them already, and I'll be giving them out to Patreons as well. But once we release those exclusive wallpaper downloads, make sure you download them because that link will expire. and they won't be available on Twitter or anywhere else. So just our appreciation for you guys watching, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
And that's for all Patreon members, right? So I get one too?
Yes, all Patreon members,
Yeah.
all YouTube members, and everybody that's watching live. So it won't be available for replay, unfortunately.
Oh, all viewers like you. There we go.
Yay.
All the more reason to watch live. And man, yeah, what a week. Triple threat. We got the presentation, ground photos, and aerial photos. We got it all. With that said, I think we're ready. Let's dive right in.
And this is I really wish I could have been there, Mauricio. This is one of those things that, like, there's one thing when you see it outside of the launch site, and another thing to actually be in there. So I mean, how did it feel to sit in here? I don't think this is the full image. I'm probably
No, that's not the full image. So this is a composite
Okay.
image of about 6 photos. So what I do is I focus on the top part, and I basically stitch the photos together. So I didn't actually see anybody doing this out there. I had my wide angle lens. It's really hard to get. This thing is massive. It's really hard to get it into frame. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to get Elon in the shot as well. So if you scroll down, at the bottom right, you'll see Elon Musk. There, there you
Oh
go.
wow.
Nicely
Wow.
done.
Dang, I can't believe you fit him in that huge picture.
Wow.
Yeah, there's like between a 40 and 50 megapixel image, and this will be one of the downloads, so just stick around for that. And to be honest, you guys can print them out. You guys can, use them as wallpapers, as far as that goes, so it's really worth it, to stick around for that.
You guys notice that bat signal of the Starship up above? that is impressive.
And then
It
the
really
praying
is.
mantis that's leaning its face off of the tower, OLIT. See it leaning back?
Oh, I see that now too. Oh
Mhm.
wow. Did you guys notice the color differences as well? Like they intentionally colored the different tank sections
Mhm.
different colors there.
Oh, they
I
did.
actually did not notice that.
So yeah, you've got your locks sections
Mhm.
more of a like a blue
Blue.
color and a green or yellow color for the methane sections.
Yeah,
They
I guess
tried.
you can
It's not
see, yeah, they tried.
it's not perfect, but it's good. It's really good.
Definitely
Yeah, I
suits
thought they
the
were
purpose.
shining blue on the whole tower. It's really hard to tell what color they were using because from every different camera it looked different, and then also everybody who was taking pictures, a lot of the pictures had filters on them, so it's kind of hard to tell what color they were the lights actually were. Is there any filter on this, Mauricio?
No filter. I
So
mean,
this is the actual color.
it looked blue. It looked like a bluish type of color on that.
Wow.
But it was an amazing experience, to be honest. I took my brother along, and he didn't really know what he was witnessing. To be in presence of what's going on and what this could be. It's pretty exciting. To be there.
Did he become a fan now, or is I know it's kind of hard to get people who aren't interested in Starship to start becoming, a follower, but I think if you see it in person, that kind of changed things because you just realize how massive it is.
Right. Yeah. He had actually been there about 2 years ago. My brother.
Hmm.
And he said he couldn't recognize it. It just doesn't look the same. There's so much progress out there.
So, Mauricio, I want to ask you, what was the atmosphere like on the ground? How was everybody feeling? And what was the highlight of the experience for you?
The highlight of the experience was, I think some of us got nervous, just going up to the launch site. It's something that, I'm so used to looking at it from the outside in, and just driving up to, the stage, we drove in to the launch site, and it was just a different experience, just to be in that atmosphere so close to Ship 20 and Booster 4 and the tower. It's a once in a lifetime experience.
Indeed. I know my first time driving up to the launch site, it felt like I was going to go meet a girlfriend for the first time. Yeah. No, it's such an awe-inspiring experience.
Well, and that girlfriend's giving you a hug too. Look at that,
I know.
GPT. You're
Look
very
at that.
popular. Well done, sir.
Hugs all around the Starship too. Oh my God, look at those arms.
Yeah, it's doing the T-pose, which is very similar to what we saw in the animation as well. So that
Mhm.
animation showed this same T-pose before liftoff, and that is something I wasn't expecting it to be as low, but there it is.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wonder. I feel like it looks better when it's low. I mean, it could be way higher up on the tower, but when you look at it from this angle right here, I mean, it looks really good.
And it makes sense. If you do it too high, you're going to torque that tower a bit more than you would want to.
One of the things that we were thinking was that they would keep it at the maximum height just so that there would be less thrust and fire hitting the tower and the cables just to keep them more protected. And the higher up the arms are, the more protected we thought they might be. It looks like they're going with this height, and they'll find it to be capable of withstanding that.
This is definitely a wallpaper photo right here. That's for
I
sure.
know.
The colors are phenomenal.
Yeah, that actually is a wallpaper photo. So that you guys are
Was
gonna be
that
able
the
to
one?
download that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I won't leave it up for too long since everybody's gonna be able to download it because we got a lot to get through. So, man, this is amazing. I just wish I could have stood here. Were you one of the first people in here, or is this on the way out? This is
That's
outside the
actually
entrance.
after the event. So I stuck around for about an hour, and they reopened the road. So I stuck around to take some additional shots as they
Okay.
were dismantling the stage and all that.
So I don't want to get too deep into it now, but I noticed that they finally finished doing the insulation on this line right here, which is one of the last remaining ones before ideally they put some kind of large cover over the back of this. That should have been the last thing they needed to do. So hope we see that soon, but won't dive in too deep yet. We got some more shots from the what do they call it? The Starship update or presentation? Yeah, sorry, the presentation.
Right. And one thing I do want to say is they did tell us not to be pointing our cameras around as we were on the site. They told us just keep it focused on the backdrop. Don't be pointing your camera around to like critical infrastructure, things like that. So,
Things we could already see from the road.
right, right. And I was just kind of like, I wanted to be respectful to that. They did tell us obviously not to take photos of the Raptors, but um, I I took the photos from outside the site, so I think that's fine. So you don't see
Man,
the photos.
I feel like
There's people.
everybody and their mom took pictures with the Raptor. You should have just done it, you know?
I mean, I took a picture. I'm not gonna lie. I took a picture right next to the Raptor, and it was pretty cool. Probably gonna frame that.
Can you
Oh
touch the
man.
raptors? Because there are pictures of people actually what looks like touching the raptors.
I mean, I don't really want to. I don't want to say if anybody did that, but I didn't do that.
Okay. But it was
Thanks, Mark.
it was okay or it was frowned upon because he was like, "Come check out my raptors."
Oh, I'm guessing. I mean, the employees were touching them. That's as far as
Okay.
I can tell you. I
Yeah,
didn't
no,
really
that's
see
good.
anybody.
It looked like a lot of SpaceX folks standing around. I almost thought they were guarding it, but they may have just been admiring it themselves. I know some of the propulsion engineers down there were super excited to finally get their hands on one and to see what they had coming to them. A lot of production rates to happen up in McGregor to get there.
I gotta say that I went to the first presentation, and this one was definitely a different vibe and environment. The first one there was less employees. It was back in 2019, so there was less employees. I'm actually surprised that this one didn't have more employees in it. I'm guessing some of them, some of them couldn't make it, or maybe not all of them, could go from Starbase. But there was quite a few. There was a significant amount of employees for this one as well. And the environment was a lot more exciting. Everybody was more hyped up about it than I anticipated compared to the first event.
So did you recognize any people that were there that you don't see too often down in Boca Chica? but you still like you're friends with and know and those kinds of people?
I mean, there's Kevin from Space Centric. I saw him out there. I got to talk to him for a bit. I got to catch up. I met a lot of new people, so there's also that.
Lots of new friends.
Yeah, it's always good to meet people out there that have similar interests. And I know in the bus I had Tim Dodd actually sat next to me, and we're just talking. Hey, Tim Dodd, if you're listening, or another invitation, if you want to go on a flyer with me, you're totally welcome to do so.
Oh, awesome.
Your
That'll be a
tweet was
great
so
flyover.
funny. Sorry. Your tweet was so funny. You were so excited. You're like, Tim Dodd sitting right next to me. I was like, oh. I thought it was fabulous.
Yeah, I didn't tweet that. I think I posted it on Discord.
Oh, is that
But
where it was? Okay, sorry.
yeah,
It was
was very
great.
excited.
Tim got to meet me whenever I went down there. That was a lot of fun.
It's true. Every time you were there, he ran into you.
I know.
So while everybody's filing through the door, it looks like we got ourselves up to 300 people here. So just want to take the time to remind everybody to like the stream if you haven't done so already. We really appreciate you for doing so. Also, if you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you subscribe as well. And if you want to become a member and let your name show up, was it green in the chat?
Mm-hmm. Green.
Yeah, you can hit the join button to become a member. And yeah, becoming just subscribing is free. You don't have to pay anything to subscribe and just get notifications on when we go live. So that definitely supports the channel and lets us know that you guys are liking what you're seeing. So just hit that like button and let's continue on.
Do we want to say thank you to Jacqueline? She also donated £5 and says thank you so much for providing those subtitles. So Mauricio, thank you for those subtitles.
you're welcome.
We're here for you, Jackie. Glad to do
I
it.
always refer to her as Jay Quellen, and she understands that joke, but hopefully that shows up in the subtitles. And you're
Can
welcome.
we all
Yeah,
call her
we
Jay
tried to make
Quellen?
sure that we got that for you because we know there's a lot of people in here who may or may not actually be able to hear us, so we want to try and provide for that. So if the subtitles work out, hopefully we'll be able to keep them. We'll try and work on those as we go to make them a little bit more ideal. So continuing on, I think we were going to hop over back into the air. I think this was the last ground shot you had. Oh, no, it wasn't. And you had pictures of the Raptors. I forgot. Boom.
So there were a couple of questions. Maybe Mauricio, you can answer. I don't know if you saw the same things, but Michael2801 was asking, there are pictures with SpaceX written in the sky. Is that just a lens flare or is it an actual projected info in the clouds? Do you know?
I'm not actually sure about that. I'm just gonna have to look at the photo that he's referring to. Is that the image with the Booster 4 and Ship 20 and Elon in the same frame, or I can't really
Probably.
say.
Yeah.
But I didn't see or notice that, to be honest. It could just be lens flare.
Makes sense. There was also a question about how or what was the process of getting invited. That's Ernie Schneider's question, actually.
The process of getting invited, I believe, since I was invited to the first event, that's how they have me in their, I guess, in their database. So I got the invitation via email. They already have my email, and you just fill out a form and to see what outlet you were in, and just it's pretty straightforward. A lot of people that I noticed that a lot of people that got the link or that asked for the link got in. Being that it was so short notice, I was actually expecting not that many media to show up, but they actually did. I think they sent out the invite approval within like 12 to 15 hours before the event.
Wow, that's a short time frame. It's great so many
Yeah.
people got there so quickly.
Or it could have been like 24 hours, but even then it's still short notice, especially for like the media that's from overseas, or they have to book hotels, they have to book flights. That's not enough time to do all that. So mostly it was local media that I saw there.
Were you able to, or were you in line to ask questions or anything like that, or what? I know you weren't able to ask directly, but in line? Were you in line, or did you see anybody else in line to ask questions before they cut off the questions area early on?
I wasn't in line, but I saw that Lewis was in line. But I think he was actually next before they cut him off.
Oh
That's my
dear.
understanding. I
Oh,
believe that's
no.
my understanding.
I gave him a whole list of questions. I said, find the one you want to ask and go for it. And it was from the community. But that stinks.
So what would you have asked Elon if you had gotten the chance?
Well, I noticed that nobody asked them, is Booster 4 and Ship 20 even going to launch? I
I
wanted to hear
know.
that from it. They have a new stand under construction at Sanchez, and I'm just wondering what is going to go there. Is it going to be Ship 20 or the next Starship after that? I'm not really sure. And he didn't
Yep.
talk about he didn't actually talk about what was going on. I don't think he would have. Maybe he would have gone around the question. Not really sure
Yeah,
what you guys
and
think.
I'm not even sure he knows for sure which one's going to fly. That said, it looks pretty good for the next ship, though this ship is still on the table. Literally.
But speaking of questions, if you have questions for Mauricio or any of us, ! questions, so we can grab those questions to answer those for you.
Mm-hmm. And it just actually popped down in the chat, so they should have all seen it as well in the cards. And Mauricio, do you know if there were any questions you weren't allowed to ask?
I didn't hear anything like that. I think they just said, I think Elon kind of just said, does anybody have questions? And everybody just kind of hesitated because, and the thing is about the last event, they left the questions towards the end and they had everybody line up in a particular areas. So you knew questions were coming up. And this time around, people were just raising their hands and they were taking the microphones to them. So it was I think there might have been a better opportunity to ask more questions. But since everybody was fumbling around with where's the mic at or who's going next or whatever, I don't think we heard that many, questions being asked at this event.
Yeah, definitely felt a little Wild West out there, but good time had by all.
It
That
was fun.
said,
It was fun to watch too. While we're at it, sorry, Thomas. I was just going to thank a couple of people real
Okay, go
fast.
ahead.
Thank you, Astro Joe, for your donation. He says, join RGV aerial photography rocks. Rocket also donated $4.99. Thank you, sir or ma'am. And Senti, welcome to being a RGV flight supporter. We're excited to have you aboard. Go ahead, Thomas.
I was just to say, there was plenty of great questions asked, and the one that was on the bingo cards and everybody did want to know was, is BS 420 going to fly? And we never had that question. The closest we had was probably from Eric Berger. He said, if the FAA approval is acquired, what is the hardware readiness of the rocket, ground system, software, etc.? And it was just the readiness of the rocket part of that question. I'm just like, is that the question we get the answer on? And it was just a vague answer from Elon of, yeah, we're ready to go pending regulatory approval in a couple of months.
what was interesting to me about that is a couple more months was after the time frame of getting the approval from the FAA. So it sounds like the hardware side might be the longer leg than the approval side.
Well, it's Elon time too, so
Yeah.
Everything has to be multiplied by 3.
Exactly. So while we're looking at the picture of the Raptors that were at the presentation, wow, look at on the right is Raptor 1, on the left is Raptor 2, and wow, look at the simplification they've had in terms of just complexity, design. They're even slightly different sizes while producing more thrust, and even the connection is vastly different.
I noticed that the turbo pump for methane is beefier than it was on version 1. So the right one is just a bit thinner, the left one's a bit thicker. So it's beefier on that side. But
wow.
It is slimmed down quite a bit overall.
Yeah, and it's slightly shorter. The nozzle and the bell are slightly different. I mean, look at the simplification of the overhead pipe coming in.
Well, that particular part, they do have the actuator on the right hand side. They'll have something very similar go on the left one. So there are still missing pieces. You can notice that there's pipes that just go to nowhere, that kind of stuff, but it's mostly all there. It's amazing how much is been simplified down on just the pipes and the pneumatics and everything else.
Right.
Why do you think they didn't bring the entire thing out?
It is to showcase the item itself, not all the stuff on it. And the one on the right is pretty much ripped off of any Starship Raptor Center or Booster Raptor Center and stuck right here. It has everything it needs to be operable. The left one is mostly operable, but it is missing at least the main lines and the connector. So it could be any type of connector. It could be a Raptor perimeter on the booster. So they have the RBs. They don't pivot. They don't swivel. But the one on the right does. So they just used what was available. It looks like.
Yep. So not an apples to apples comparison. But that said, on the right, you'll notice the spaghetti of cabling and shields and pipes that are missing on the left, some of which will return. However, Elon did mention that one of the goals was to remove or internalize as many of those pipes as possible, therefore making the Raptor flame-proof and thus not needing a shield. So removing the shield or reducing the shielding would greatly reduce the mass of the Starship and would be a big win. So the more they can internalize into the rocket body, the better off they are.
Yeah, he said a couple of other amazing things on this. It's half as much as the one on the right. The one on the right was aiming to be about 250,000. So if they already hit that point, this is like at least 125,000, or it is at that 250,000 price point. Its thrust is hit at least 247 metric tons. Probably had a rut after that, but still, that is huge. They're aiming for 250. So their goal is within sight. Their nominal thrust was around, what was it, like 230?
I remember seeing 185 for Raptor 1 or 187.
No, I'm saying for two.
For two? Yeah.
Yes, it was what you said.
Yep. Also, I believe the initial cost per unit item for the Raptor 1 was $1 million, and the target for the final Raptor engine was $250. So if this one is reduced by half, that might be at the $500,000 benchmark per item. So anyway, that is by far the cheapest rocket engine. That puts it in the territory of a sports car. And if you look at this, it almost looks like a sports car engine.
Yeah.
And man, love to ride that thing.
If they price this down anymore, it'll be an Estes rocket.
All right. Well, with that, I think we are at the end of our ground shots. Probably a good idea to get up in the air, guys. Huh? What you think?
Yeah. That's what we came for.
Well, the ground shots are also good. We gotta.
Agreed.
They're
Especially these ones.
Depending on who you are, they could be the star of the show.
Oh,
So-
where is this from, Mauricio? I know it is, but I want Mauricio, if you can give your where is this from as far as the direction we're looking at?
We're looking towards Mexico, so it's facing south. I'm looking towards the south side, and you got the launch site on the left, and you got the build site on the right. It's a little bit cropped out. It's just the flight plan that we took that I couldn't really get that many wide shots. We had some clouds that were about to move in within 15-20 minutes, so we had to rush and get our close-up shots as soon as possible.
And that body of water that kind of just goes back and forth looking like a river, that's the Rio Grande right there, isn't it?
Right. So you see that the river meets the Gulf right at the edge of that. If you follow that, there you go.
That's just
I've
a
never
hop,
actually-
skip, and a jump away.
Yeah, I've never actually been out there, but I hear that there's a lot of people would go over there from the Mexico side to watch the launch from over there.
I know
so that's
I would.
that's one way to get really close to the action.
Whoa.
Not that we recommend any of
That
that.
just popped a huge light bulb into my head. I was like, might have to do that.
But you know what? I don't recommend it at all, just because it's Mexico, and right now it's not the right time. In my opinion, it's not the right time to be visiting Mexico. just
Yeah.
because of the drug. I don't even think it's a drug war anymore, but there's
Yeah.
I wouldn't go. I haven't gone to Mexico in quite a while.
Yeah,
I
there's a
wouldn't
lot of
recommend.
lot of considerations there. And for anyone
Is there
not
anything
super,
stopping us from swimming over there? Like, I know you can't swim this way, but can you swim that way?
Can you
Yeah.
swim back to shore is another question.
Maria said
Well,
there are alligators there.
We don't want that.
yeah. You don't want to do that. I mean, Border Patrol has an eye on you
Oh,
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure.
There's a lot of Border Patrol out there.
the first time I was on that river, I did not realize it was the Rio Grande. And I tried to kayak across it, and everyone yelled, trying to stop me, like, don't go to Mexico. And I'm like, oh, that's Mexico? It looks just like Texas.
you won't be able to come back.
I know.
But
But,
yeah, so
that's
that is
uh,
a great view.
one thing I wanted to cover real quick is off to the left, obviously to me, is the Gulf of Mexico. And the reason they chose this site was because of its proximity to an eastward body of water so that they're not flying over land. And it's very far south, which gives great rotational acceleration from the Earth itself. The further south you are, the better off you are launching a rocket. That's why they're here. It's the best place in the U.S. that they can launch from and not disturb Cape Kennedy.
A little bit of free momentum. Nice. But yeah, we can go ahead next one if you'd like. The launch site. Nice.
Look at how tall that structure is. That is amazing. Considering Lego Pad used to be the tallest thing except for the cranes, that's pretty amazing.
Also like to say that when you're at Starship, it's so wide, it's so thick. You think it looks like a very fat, stubby rocket, but now that it's on the full stack, wow, it looks like a normal dimension rocket. It almost looks about the same as the Falcon 9 in some ways.
Are you saying she's well proportioned?
Yes, she's
Well done.
she's a pretty rocket.
So most of the ones that are coming up are from a little bit more of a distance. So instead, I am actually going to switch over to the Sanchez site so we can move through this a little bit quicker.
All right, sounds great.
So here we are. And just starting off, there's a lot to see here, in my opinion. The Sanchez site is probably my favorite place to talk about, just because I personally think that this is where their main project is right now. I kind of consider the Kennedy Space Center stuff, a different project. I almost think they're two separate budgets. And this is part of the Starbase budget, actually, which makes sense since it's Starbase. So, there's a lot of changes that are happening within Sanchez. One of the big things, which Mauricio mentioned earlier, is that they're now preparing what looks like another Starship display stand. So
Got 5 or 6 of the pads, yeah.
Yeah, so when they only have 6 pads in there like that, then it's usually for a Starship. This one right here, I don't know if they can put a Starship on that one.
That was for the test cell that held the nose cones for Max Q. That piece is missing.
Yeah, the nose cone jail has been moved over, so I don't know if they can actually put a Starship there because of the dimensions being different on the test stand or the transport stand. But yeah, I mean, they will now be able to have at least 3 Starships over here. I wonder if they're going to put the other one backwards so we can see the heat shield. They got the first 2 at different angles, so I imagine the next one will be facing completely backwards. And it'll also be interesting to see which one is the next one that goes there. I'm kind of thinking.
Ooh, good question.
I don't know. People don't want to hear this one. I'm just gonna.
No, they do. I want to hear.
Yes, people come to hear,
Please.
not just to be teased.
I mean, I think that Ship 20 is gonna go here, in my opinion.
Makes sense.
It just seems right. Like it seems like the job for Ship 20 is complete after they do this launch tower testing. I don't know what else we should be expecting from it, unless actually a hypersonic flight would be cool.
Ooh.
But if they're not even planning on doing stuff like that, then you might as well just Parker right there, and then move on to 22 or even 21. Well, that is the other possibility. They could put 21 right here.
Yeah, but that's only a partial section. You've got the nose cone sitting there, but I think they're going to use 21's nose cone on 22, which is all sorts of weird. Like 22 has all of the pieces to say, hey, we're going to be taking over all of the progress that we've done so far. But yeah, 21, it's pretty much scrapped in my opinion.
Yeah. I think the nose cone in 22 will probably be scrapped as well. I think they'll pivot going straight into 24 and stop wasting production cycles on 21 and 22. 21 and 22, if they had gotten an approval sooner, or if they had had more problems with 20, if they had more Raptor 1 engines, then you might have had more progress on those. But going forward, I think maybe 22, but probably 24 should be the focus. Not to say they will be, but they could be.
Yeah.
22 has the same fitting that Booster 7 has, right? As well as 24. It just doesn't have the Raptor 2 thrust puck. It still has the other thrust puck, but the 33.
Raptor 1, yeah.
Yeah.
That's my theory, is that they're going to take the Raptors from Ship 20 and stick them on 22. It's going to be an amalgamation of a Franken
Franken rocket.
Yeah.
I love it.
Franken Raptor.
Yeah. The
but
other
going back to
option.
oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the other option is they go and launch 420, and they put 20 back at Vandenberg, and then they can use this spot to hold booster 20 that they fish out of the Gulf.
It's a pad of 6, it looks like. So booster, no, but
no.
yeah, another one would be good. That's easy
Yeah.
to do. I did see a big other movement here. They moved the can crusher. In fact, it looks like it's middle of movement in this image here. They moved it from the right-hand side to the left-hand side.
Interesting.
And they even got a puck shucker, it looks like, stand ready for. I don't remember being a. Yeah, it's just right there. Yeah.
Oh, and one last point on the ships. They're going to need to have storage to hold dozens, possibly hundreds of these ships. Maybe not here at the Boca Chica site, but whenever they get into the full production swing, they're just going to have fleets of these ships. So they're going to have somewhere to store them all. Parking lot.
Are the SPMTs under the can crusher?
Yep, the self-propelled modular transports are right underneath. So they were being actively moved at that point.
And to the right of that is the top of the nose cone, the lid, correct? I'm sorry, the can crusher, the top of the can crusher?
Yeah, I call that the top hat, and then just right below it is, I believe, the old Ship 22's thrust section. I'm sorry, skirt section. So they threw that one out, and now they've got an extra one, and they can use it either to hold stuff or an actual test. And I think they're going to bring some other stuff in to test it. They might weld some things together to work with that, but it's just one of those big speculations. But it's getting prepared and ready for something here. They're moving things around in order to do that.
So it looks like we have a few super chats I wanted to thank everybody for really quick. We got $10 for Michelle. She asked, who will match me? And then she was quickly matched by Jim Cavett with another $10 saying, Michelle, I will. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate your support. We have a few questions as well, too. I see a question about, are they going to build an extended Starship? And that was from Stephen Lewis. And yeah, I believe we've heard Elon mention that they were going to build an extended Starship. He mentioned it during the Everyday Astronaut tour. He mentioned that they would stretch it at that point, and I think he's said it a few times since then. So, he said it at the. Did he say it at the presentation last night as well?
I believe so.
The other night, yeah.
Oh, and we still have some matching going on. Yazada also donated $10, matching Michelle. Michelle, they're coming for you.
Thanks, Yazada.
Pretty soon it's going to be a penny more, and then 2 pennies.
Maybe we can start with $1. $1 more. $11.
Oh, they've been Painting, nice. So this is the electric generator. They use natural gas to generate about 13.1 megawatts or so of electricity for backup power, we believe. But that is coming together very nicely. They might actually even use it as main power until they get actual power lines all integrated in. What was it? Magic Valley Energy is bringing in their lines right now. These high tension over, what was it, 60,000 keV.
Yeah, they've started to, as you said, paint these. They put the paneling on it about, I want to say 4 weeks ago, and pretty much everything out here at the Sanchez site is getting covered up in some way or form in order to look like the actual facility that it was taken from. For those of you who don't know how this works, the generators actually run off of the natural gas that's supplied from these tankers. So these compressed natural gas tankers will show up multiple times a day, and they connect to this distribution trailer right here. So they've actually poured another pad right here, which I've mentioned on a previous episode, where they'll be able to at least have an extra 2 of them. So there'll be 4 natural gas supply tankers for the generator, the genset. So basically, you can run it all day long at max, whatever their max output is, and not have to constantly be replacing them as frequently. They're just giving themselves a little bit more capacity for how long they can run it without needing a refill, essentially.
And one other observation on those, it looks like they're taking the LNG, so the liquid natural gas, they are warming it up possibly using the same system as the chillers. So everything that's going in, they're taking the heat already existing, pumping it out from the chillers to those boxes over there, which are connected to the LNG line, so that it comes in as a gas.
Are you talking about these?
Yeah.
These are CNG trailers. They're compressed natural gas. I don't think they're LNG, because it's a CNG distribution trailer. I mean, it's so compressed that it may be in liquid on the bottom, but these should be CNG trailers.
Yeah, I looked up the company that brings those in, and they do bring in liquid natural gas.
LNG too. Okay.
Yeah. So
cool.
And Dave Avery says it's LNG, and Dave Avery is a smart man.
Dave Avery is 99% right. It's the 1%
Yeah,
it's like amazing. We got
when
it
we
right.
use these in the oil and gas industry, we use CNG, so these might be different. But yeah, that's thank you, Dave, for that correction. One of the other things that I noticed about the Sanchez site is this huge pad right here. And at first, I thought this looked like they were laying out space for drilling operations for oil and gas, but this is, in my opinion, not the best area to do that at all. Like, if I was them, I wouldn't put a well here, because I don't think it's that high of a producing area. But the other option for this is, let me go find them. I think I went the wrong direction. So we have these 3 absorption tanks over here, and they've just recently been uncovered, and those actually, I have a picture of them from the ground that I wanted to show.
GB, you're saying those white tanks are the absorption tanks?
These?
Yep.
Yeah, the absorption columns, yes.
Sorry, absorption columns.
And real quick, the absorption columns transform natural gas into more purified methane, right?
Yeah, they call it like sweet gas. So it's it basically takes all of the contaminants out. So you have hydrogen sulfide, CO2, other contaminants that you can take out. This will be part of that process, and you actually see all of the stuff just sitting just to the left of it, just all the little stuff. That is everything you basically need to get most of that process started. It's all actually right there. Lots of little tanks that basically you have a different number of systems to cycle through. So you will use, let's say, water or basically ammonia as part of your 2 main components, and you'll have it run through and be able to scrub all of the contaminants out using those tanks as the majority of it. And then there's the other parts that are just the cycles for the water, or the cycles for the ammonia.
Yeah, and I was actually watching these earlier in the week when they showed up, or not when they showed up, but they began to uncover them. I was looking on Raptor Roost Cam from Lab Padre. I am actually one of the cam drivers over there just for that camera. So I happened to catch it as they were lifting all of that blue tarp off of it, and luckily I saw that Ground Truth was going down there, and I asked him to take a picture of him, and this is what he got for us. So this is what they look like from the ground. Truth,
Oh.
no pun intended. You guys should definitely follow him on Twitter if you aren't already. His I believe his wife's about to have a baby, so I'm not sure when he's going to be down there again next. But he is definitely very awesome photographer, and was able to get me these pictures of what they look like now that they're uncovered. They're kind of basic. We've seen the actual pipe inlets before, because this one was uncovered. Half of it was uncovered. There's not a lot of detail on the top, but the fact that they are uncovering these means that we're definitely going to see some action out of them soon. The one problem with that, going back to the aerial view, is that they've kind of boxed these things in. So because of the presentation, they needed to move a ton of stuff away from the launch site. And while all of this stuff was already in the Sanchez site, they moved it further into the lot. So most of this stuff was kind of spread out down in this area over here, and they've shifted all of it over here. The test tanks that were sitting over here, booster 6 point. I'm not sure which boosters those were. Do you remember which ones they are, Thomas?
It's mostly booster 6 stuff.
Yeah.
So there's booster 6 thrust section on the left, and then it's going to be 6.1 is what they're going to use part of those to make for the can crusher, most likely. That's what we heard from, I believe it was Jessica Kerr. She asked somebody out there, and she's like, what is that going to be used for? And they said 6.1. It's like, oh, okay. That makes it easier.
Yeah, I really love the Sanchez site just because there's so much to see all the time, and I say that almost every episode. But one of the big things that I noticed in here, actually, I saw it earlier in the week thanks to Mauricio, and this is something that we talked about on the last episode. And I will show it from the ground first because, in my opinion, this is super exciting. Mauricio happened to drive in right as these were showing up to location. And if any of you guys have watched us previously, you know that we mentioned how there is no way to stack Booster 7 without having an additional transport stand. And, we were kind of confused on why they hadn't moved the transport stand for Booster 4 back to the build site in order to use it for stacking Booster 7. But, what day was this on, Mauricio? I'm guessing
That was on, it might have been on Tuesday or Wednesday or Monday.
Man, when I saw this picture, I didn't even see it at first because I was very busy at the beginning of the week, and somebody actually sent it to me. They're like, "Hey, did you see this? Is this the thing you've been talking about?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's the thing right there. Thank you."
It happens to you a lot, doesn't it?
Was that Max Q actually? That was
Either
Max Q,
that
I
or
believe.
Ryan.
Yeah, it was either Max Q or Ryan S. So thank you guys for that. Man, in this extended view right here, I should have started off with this one because I really like this angle in general. So I would not be surprised if this facility that's about to get constructed ends up going right here, which would make a lot of sense because all of their they have I believe their generator output extends over here, the electrical output for it. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to look back and see what's underneath this drive over.
And so what would this building be?
This is a methane or a liquid natural gas purification plant. So basically, they would bring in liquid natural gas, and they would using these absorption Thomas, what did you say? Since they're not absorption
They're,
columns, absorption
they're,
chambers?
they're stacks or tanks. So
Okay.
tank is correct because it's a vertical tank, but stack is also correct.
Right.
Column is just describing the shape, really.
Yeah.
Dave
I
calls them
made
vertical absorption columns.
vertical absorption columns. Yeah.
He says that.
So these, I mean, everything. There's a ton of stuff for that facility that's laying in here. There's
Those elbows. They've sat there for
these have been here
Mark
forever,
1.
ever. Like it's ridiculous.
I
mean,
see
they
a lot
even
of
buried
test
trucks
stand.
back here.
I see a
Wow.
lot of future test stand parts in there as
Wow.
well. Those lattice structures that are stacked up on top of each
These?
other. Yeah,
Yeah, that
those
would be
ones.
suborbital test stand C, I think. Right. Yep. And these two.
Mhm.
This is what test stand A and B are made out of, right?
Yeah, exactly. The same
Yeah.
exact stuff. It's all the same. They even had technically A and B are not as you think they are because they did remove one. So it's really A and B are really like especially A is the second version of A.
So I
Yeah.
want to
Anyways,
pause for 1 second because I just noticed that we just jumped up to 500 people in here. So I wanted to welcome everybody who just showed up. If you guys are new and haven't seen our show before, then welcome to the RGV Flyover photography review. I probably said that wrong, but
No, you did great. You did
look at those
yeah. So
pads. I just noticed those
basically,
pads between all the trucks. Holy cow!
shiny objects. Yeah.
Right?
So I just want to make sure we everybody hits that like button. There's 530 of you in here, and only 269 likes. Awesome number. But let's change that because I think these are really awesome pictures. And with that, I don't want to spend too much time telling you guys to like stuff.
Real fast though,
We can
JP,
keep going.
that war is still going on, the super chat war. We have a whole bunch of new donations.
Oh wow.
We have
Oh,
a
wow. Go ahead.
$5 euro donation from Jake Quellen. Our favorite is, she says, okay, girls, and another 5. And then Jeff Weiss, a little not quite matching Michelle at $10. He's at $9.99. Thank you, Jeff Weiss. We have WL Animal with a super chat of $11. He says, match plus thanks for all the great picks, Mauricio. There's also another one from Shard Baby. Shard Baby says, donates 25 pounds and says, started to learn my way around Starbase from you. Thanks, awesome crew. Hey, you guys are awesome.
Thank you, guys. That's really awesome of y'all to donate. And do we have any questions to cover?
Mm-hmm. There are lots of questions. There's a question that says that Elon had said that the 6-vac Starship will be extended. Do you think it'll be extended to 6.2 meters? Will that still stack on this tower?
Yes. So extending it 2 rings would put it up, or each ring being 3 meters, 2 rings would be 6 meters. And it's more than capable of fitting on the same stack there. The bottom of it is almost more that matters. Each ring is 1.8288 meters. And yep, so that should still fit. And the bottom mates up perfectly, and the quick disconnect mates up perfectly. The only question on height is how high can the catch arms / lifting arms lift the ship? So at that point, you can't stack any higher than that. And also donation US $19.99 from I am Nate's.
Nate Z, keep that plane flying.
Good old Nate dog.
So I got a question about the absorption tanks, the vertical absorption tanks. Acting Unit 0.8 asks, will the absorption tanks be treating trucks delivered natural gas, on-site production, or new pipeline?
Most likely on site or potentially a pipeline, and we don't see any existing pipelines that they can use at the moment that are connected, but there is actual pipe that is old from hasn't been used for probably 8-9 years now. So that was up from the Sanchez site. But most likely it's just going to be what they have on site. So they do have natural gas, but it's not a amount that they can sell, but it's a good amount that they can use for themselves. So that's what they're probably doing, is using it for themselves, for their operations. That's going to be where they're able to get some of the propellant, specifically methane, devoted to either Starship or energy production at the site. Either of those will definitely help out as far as costs go.
Do you think that they're going to build a second tower at Boca Chica if Cape Kennedy becomes the primary base for any reason? Solaris is asking.
I suspect they will. Having two towers will allow them to test their advanced rocket designs, especially in terms of having two fully stacked Starships ready to go, and then they can test out fluid transfers from that facility. It just gives them more options for flexibility. And if they have the money and the time, I think there's no reason not to.
It also divides some of their operation costs. So instead of having one facility that you have to wait to fix things, operations now you just divide in half essentially.
Yep. And they might even have, for instance, an easier time producing methane here off the natural gas available, and that allows them more adequate resources to send fully filled ships to space. So that might be an operational reason there as well.
So our favorite Frenchman asks, Starbase FR asks, do you think they will have to redo suborbital flights to test the Raptor 2 engines?
I don't think they have to, but I really want them to. Those suborbital hops are amazing. You not only get to see them launch, but land immediately, and it's the best of both worlds all right in front of you. I hope they do.
Let's go suborbital but hypersonic this time.
Yes.
I just want to finish off one thing in this area so we can move on to the build site, because I feel like we've sat at Sanchez for a while. The last thing I wanted to say about this transport stand is, by the time Mauricio got in the air to take a picture of this, they had already started assembling it, so they're not messing around. They're trying to get this thing together as quickly as possible. The only thing about it is they also have to add the clamps onto it. So that part is what I noticed took them the longest the previous time. So we'll see how quickly this comes together. But yeah, I mean, to go from the truck to upright, welded together this quickly, they're definitely not joking, and they need that ASAP. Also, one thing you'll notice is that I believe this is 3 out of the 4 large sections for the 2 bridge cranes. I think
Nice.
there's one more large section, and then there'll be a whole bunch of equal. Well, not they're still large, but they're what are they called? The rails for the man. I'm gonna butcher the name right now. I'm not even gonna try. So you have the trolley right here, and then you have the girders, and then there's a ton more pieces that should come in with this. But the fact that they have it on site right now is really good news. One of the other things to notice is the fact that they're in front of these tanks currently, and that is an indicator that, in my opinion, they may be expecting to use these before they move these out, unless they just move this stuff out of the area back here. But I don't know. I look for signs like that as far as like what they have placed in front of other objects in order to determine like the order that they're going to do stuff. I don't know. There's usually signs like that. So it'd be really cool to get the next section of the Widebay done quickly and start seeing these pieces go up. I imagine there might be some tandem lift action in there somewhere, but we'll see.
Yeah, that wide bay is going up awful quick. One question before you go on: the transport stand, is that the rumored booster transport stand, or
Yes, this is a Starship transport stand. This is a booster transport stand.
beefy?
Yes.
Do
Very
you also want
large.
to grab the infographic Mr. Pleasant popped up for the bridge crane? Just kind of understand what
Oh,
your
yeah.
terminology is, and as well as allow everybody else to understand how it works in general.
Because
And
that's what we're
GB
all here to learn is bridge cranes.
Exactly.
We are. We kind of
I'm here
are.
for that. That's what we learned. And GB, you were right. They're called bridge rails.
The smaller ones.
Yes.
Sorry, I was not ready for that picture
No
to come
issue.
up.
We also got
So,
a super chat donation while you pulled that up from Rocket Profit. Thank you, Rocket Profit. He donates $25. He or she, sorry, donates $25 and says this is so much better for actual education. Keep up the great work, folks.
Thanks,
Rocket Profits used to go by Matthew A. He is a boy. And
thank
good to
you.
see
Good.
you, Rocket Profit.
There we go.
So this is the bridge crane. diagram.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure where the front of the building is on this one. I think it's on this side. Yeah, this looks like this does make a lot of sense because to me this means that they would be able to build 4 boosters at a time inside the Widebay. So what you would do is you'd have a booster here in each corner, and then as you bring in sections, oh wait, I take that back.
It's just left
Because
to right. Is what you're
well,
working on
you
there.
would have to you would do your methane section here, your LOX section here, and you would bring your sections in through the middle. So you'd actually be only constructing potentially 2 of them at a time instead of 4, like I just said. So methane section, LOX section, and then you bring in your rings over here and you stack them to either side. So you're basically stacking both of them at the same time, and you can do another one in the front side of the Widebay.
So are you
So-
saying 2 halves? Sorry. 2 halves within each?
Yeah, and the reason that you
Area?
do it this way is so that the bridge crane can cross over the middle of the
Mhm.
bay. You could also do it with this being the opening to the Widebay instead of over here, and that then you would only have to drive things in through the middle and then put them here, and then they could stack them to either side. So either way, this one seems to be designed right here so that it's going out the front this way.
Yeah, and either way, if you have issues with the bridge cranes or anything else, you can always cheat if they're short enough. You could just use the SPMTs. Those are so versatile.
That's what I was about to ask is how are they going to transport something from one bridge crane to the other or get something to the back? And I guess SMTPs it is. SPMTs.
SPMTs.
Self-propelled modular transport for the win.
And that's what Dave always says. They can go back and forwards, but they can't go side to side. The bridge.
Oh, well, yes, but the SPMTs they can. They can go.
yeah,
They can
SPMTs
rotate. They can do anything.
100%. They can do wheelies. They can do 360s.
Okay,
on
no
a dime.
wheelies. Wheelies are
Oh, yeah.
bad.
And by the way, I'm in IT,
Makes
so I'm
sense.
always thinking of simple mail transfer protocol, and it always gets me messed up.
Ah,
You know,
now we
you
get
know,
the
I've,
explanation.
I've been next to the SPMTs. These couple of days that I've been out there, they drive them around like if they're remote control cars.
Right? Because they like
Yeah.
whiz around corners and stuff like that.
They were like about a foot from hitting my truck, but then it was probably my fault because I didn't park correctly. But
You're so
I'm like,
nice.
what is it? I was thinking, what is this guy doing? He's about to hit my truck, but I didn't realize the rotation of the tires. You know, they have full like you guys were saying, they have full axis control. You know, left, right.
Yeah, well,
That's
the
pretty
thing is, they're very good at their jobs, and they're also very well insured.
Oh yeah.
All I remember is the brake test.
Yeah,
That was the
I actually had
funniest
that
thing I've
issue
ever
too,
seen.
but it wasn't. The guys were pros at it. Like they were watching where the SPMTs are going, and they were yelling commands back and forth and hand signals to each other to say, you've got obstructions on the left, things like that. There was plenty of stuff going on that was interesting to see. And I was actually parked next to what I call the mega lift, which the SN15 was moved around with. So. Anyways,
So, Zach, while we're on this picture and showing SN15, so that's Remedios Drive, right? Can you show everyone where you are allowed to drive and walk on that public access road?
Yeah, so basically, let me back out a little. Oh, okay, that's as far back as we go. So the Widebay is actually over in this area, right above, and you can see the Airstream trailer park is starting to get reassembled now that they have the turf down. So all your buddies can sit in a circle together, sleep in a circle, well, pretend to sleep in the circle as you're hearing all the construction sounds in the Widebay happening. That would be amazing. And this is the road where you could drive down right here, Remedios. And this, I don't know if they're trying to start block people off from going down here, but
they've done some
previously,
work on the road right there.
oh, I see. Yeah, they're right. Previously, you could walk all the way up here to where the no trespassing sign is. Right now, you're able to come basically right in this area
No,
no,
further
wait,
back.
hold
There's
on.
a
Is this
sign
the
right
sign
there.
right here? Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do that, guys. Stop right here. I'm like, GB told me I could do that. I did not.
And you know they'd be throwing your name down too.
I know. They'd be like,
But
who's
it
GB?
is, yeah, it is truly awe-inspiring that you, as just a passerby, can walk, what is that, 30, 40 feet to a giant orbital class starship that has flown and landed. You never imagined you could do something like that.
I want a picnic on the AstroTurf and watch and sit there and admire.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, the AstroTurf is their property.
You can do it. You just have to work for
Right?
SpaceX.
Yes.
Some could say I.
Well, with that, I think we may be able to move on to the build site.
Yeah.
There's a ton to see at the build site this week, so let's hop right in. One of the very actually we could finish off that topic we were just talking about because now you can see it a little better here. So down here, this is Remedio's. I was just about to say Mauricio's.
This is Mauricio Drive. No, this is
Nice.
Remedio's Drive.
Show them Rocket Road just up above. It's a public road as well.
This one, yeah.
Yeah.
This one is also public road. Let's see if I can get it from a different angle. Thomas. Oh,
That was
actually
good enough.
okay.
So that yellow truck right there, that's pretty much as far as you can go.
Yeah, and they have signs clearly denoting where to go and not to go. And they do have trucks whizzing by. So if you visit, be clear and keep your head on a swivel so that you do not get hit by a busy SpaceX employee or visitor, more likely.
Or contractor.
Yeah.
Last time I was down here, actually this was moved about 10 feet forward, and I set my tripod up on this. Actually, I was there was both of them next to each other. I sat on one and I had the tripod on the other, and I was just sitting here watching them build this Widebay, and they just wave at you and keep going on about their day. It's kind of fun to just sit there and watch other people work, honestly.
They like it because they're basically in media and they're like, hey honey, look, I found myself on Twitter and it's really big.
They would have been on the first level, no? When you were there?
Yeah, they had not lifted. Yeah, they were still on the first level, I believe.
Wow.
It's been a while. Wow, that was all the way back in October. At the
Yeah.
end of October.
Look how far they've come since we visited down there, and we got to do it together. That was great.
I know. I'm so excited to go back. Honestly, I'm really excited.
So jealous. Some of
Yeah.
us haven't even been once yet.
We all got to meet up again.
You gotta step your game up.
We
I
gotta
know,
meet
right?
you too. Yeah.
I need to step my game up.
First orbital flight or bust?
Yes, sir. Without question.
All right,
Or
we'll see you
earlier.
there.
So
So
I
what
want
are-
to throw out a little speculation about the Widebay. Not really. It's not about the Widebay, but just how they're gonna finish it. So as you can see, the we're up to 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. And the 5th section is going to be the same as the rest. So they've started to assemble these the next 2 pieces already, and the remaining ones will go on right here. I'm actually wondering whether or not they'll start those soon, because I believe they may have to back this crane out of here and lay it down so that they can extend it. And the only way to avoid doing that would be to use a different load spreader, I guess, and then have a second crane participate in the tandem lifting. But we'll see what happens. I think that we should start seeing them get set up for that here soon. The only things that they have to finish first would be this the cross sections right in here. And now that I'm thinking about it, and Mr. Pleasant just reminded me, they should actually potentially be able to lay it down across here as well too.
Wow.
The bathrooms might be in the way though.
Oh no, yeah, they won't. Yeah, crush the bathrooms.
Yeah, nobody uses those anyways.
Just need another nitrogen test.
So
Well-
those bars going across, those are called Z-girts. For those who are interested in the term.
There is a possibility that the actual boom is so high up that when they lay down, it'll be above this, right?
Oh, wow.
No, not that,
No?
not the building. Maybe
It's not
that
that.
wall,
Oh,
but still, that's kind of pushing it.
would be cool.
So Stephanie Ball was asking, is that last level for Widebay the same height as the rest of them?
The last, yes, these are the same as the rest that we've seen so far, and that means that we'll see another section above it for the roof truss, and on top of these is where we should see the bridge crane go, or they're inside of the roof truss, right? They're not. I don't know if they're directly on top of these. They're inside of the roof truss, I think.
So
So
the
no
roof
more.
truss might become part of these as well. If it's anything like the high bay, they might have something like that.
So what would that put the estimated total height around, and what is the advantage of having it at that height?
Well, you would be right around 100 meters ish. And the advantages of that would be that you're not having to choke up with your load spreader in order to stack boosters. You know, they don't have a lot of room to stack boosters. They only have a few, like they're pretty much maxing out their height inside of the high bay. So by increasing the height, you just get more mobility and you could do things quicker. And I see a lot of people in the chat saying that they've laid this crane all down already. And that is not the case, actually. This crane has laid down, but the LR 11,000, which actually lifts the sections of the wide bay, is still standing. That is the one that I believe they need to extend. I'm not sure what they're doing with this one. I mean, they may need to extend both of them in order to have him participate in the tandem lift. But yeah, this is the one that I'm referring to that needs extension.
And that is the one that we call Bucky, correct?
Yep,
Yeah.
because it's a Buckner crane.
There
Right.
there are now many Buckner cranes out there, but that was the original, so
The
it gets the
original.
name Bucky.
And to the right of that is Biggie, the other
Yep.
yellow crane.
That's
Okay,
a company
cool.
who does it, so it's Biggie. So
Oh
there's
wow,
it's
that
not a
is
Biggie thing.
Biggie.
Yeah, Biggie and Bucky.
Oh man, I forgot that was him. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, this is the one that built the tower sections?
I thought Biggie helped create the big crane Kong and stuff like that.
No.
No?
I don't believe
Okay.
so, no.
That was Beanie.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was a
sorry,
mobile
my
crane.
other B.
So what else do we got down here? There was lots of fun things that I saw here earlier. We didn't have the kind of time to go through these ahead of schedule like we normally do because Mauricio did his flyover, then he landed and went to the presentation. So some of the stuff we're discovering with you guys right now.
Oh, go
And
back to the right real quick. This is something that we talked about, the test cell, just to the right a bit more. They moved that over, and either it's going to be scrapped. So this is that white structure that looks like this weird white and black lattice structure.
The one that looks like Nosecone jail?
Yeah, that's the Nosecone jail. Yeah, it's that.
I always thought of it as the bird cage because it goes around
Yeah.
a bird and it looks like a cage.
Doesn't go around a bird. It goes around a nose cone.
But anyways, that they're either going to scrap this thing or they're going to be modifying it for future uses for the new starships that they're coming out with. So I'm kind of hoping for not scrapping, but it is sitting next to the scrapyard, but it has its own little space, so who knows?
So does that mean the banana peel one is going to go through that, or the thinner one of the banana peel?
I hope
Nose
so.
cone?
I hope the stretch formed
Stretch
nose
form.
cones, which I call banana peels. Don named those aptly for us. But anyways, it's a nice process to be able to do max Q testing. You basically put it under load. We saw the same thing. Basically, Grandpa Joe and I sat there in his truck watching SN15 vent every once in a while, and all of us we hear this loud crunch sound, like metal plates slamming or something. And we look over, and there's a huge dent on the nose cone of SN12, and that was what was doing it. This part and a hydraulic ram on the interior that you can't see. That well, obviously, it's somewhere else.
That was very impressive to see such a large amount of metal just flexing and popping and hearing it was very visceral. Felt a little dangerous to be standing there.
I felt completely safe.
Yeah, there was very low chance we were going to die that day.
But
Just
when I
before
said
or after they asked you to remove your friend, GPJ?
after
Oh, sorry.
after I was asked to be moved. I was way
After they asked
downrange.
GPJ to move you.
And they also looks like they moved Booster 6 and 2.1. So they're still not done with 2.1 apparently. That's the one on the left there with the hex nut design. But yeah, this Booster 6, they might be using it to be putting together with 6 to make 6.1. That's the one on the right. GB, I can't see your mouse here, so I don't know what's going on.
No, I'm looking for a ground picture of this, so my mouse was not on the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking for this piece, which is the bottom of the LOX header tank for the booster, and I was hoping I could find a ground picture
Yeah.
for Mauricio, but I'm going to keep looking as we're talking.
I saw some indication that they were changing the design of the LOX header tank to more closely integrate it to the bottom of the ship. And saw that the parts and components on Twitter somewhere.
Oh, that was the booster you're talking about.
Yeah, on the booster.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this one I think is what we're talking about on Starship. You're thinking, or for this one, Golden Boy?
I'm not sure. I think it might be for Starship. Yeah, I mean it's really small in comparison. I mean it's huge, but it's small. It's probably for the Starship.
The scale of everything here is always a little bit confusing. Just everything's so large, but compared to each other, it's just
give me a 40-foot shipping container, and I can tell you the 9 meters are also very useful.
Or a water
diameter.
bottle. Or the 51 Fagioli stands, 51-inch Fagioli stands.
They can also come in 49-inch flavors too. Thank you very much.
All right, hey, we're gonna try something really quick because we're at the perfect number. I want to hit 420 likes right now. Don't go over it, guys. Just see if you guys can hit 420 likes. You got to have self-control. You don't need everybody doing it at the same time, but we got to get there and stop there. And then we don't have to leave it, but let's at least get to 420 just to see if the crowd is able to handle this or not.
And then
and while you guys are doing that, while you guys are doing that, we can keep going inside of the build site. Stop me if you see some. Oh, okay. People are going to want to see that for sure. Oh, hey,
There's
look.
22.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Raptors are sitting there. Oh,
nice.
Mauricio, you got it right at the best time.
Mauricio is amazing. He gets these shots that are like perfectly timed.
Did you even realize what that was? I really appreciate that they just throw it on the back of a wooden flatbed with a F-250 dragging it around. I mean, America.
Hold
right?
on.
It's a Ford commercial.
It looks like they're getting close right now. 400. Are they going to be able to stop in time? We'll see. There is a little bit of a delay right now because we have the captions enabled. So it takes about 30 seconds. So we're not going to wait for it. We'll just keep going. But yeah, I don't think Mauricio necessarily. I mean, it's hard to see. I mean, he can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's hard to like really see these details when you're taking the pictures.
Right. So it's when I'm out there taking the photos, my main concern is the clouds. I know that I have to be looking around to see if they're going to be moving in on top of a certain area. So what I do is I just start taking photos like crazy out there, and I don't actually review the photos until we're headed back to the airport. So, and that's when I check to see if everything's in focus, or that's when I start catching things. You know what, I caught this, I caught that, but I didn't actually catch this. You guys are bringing it up right now. This is the first time hearing about it.
You're like, yeah, I did. Well, you know what? You're a better guy than me. I would have been like, man, this was the center of the picture, dude. Duh. Of course I caught it.
Oh, you know what? As a matter of fact, that's the thing. No, never mind.
Thanks for reminding me.
That's not the case.
Yeah, well, it looks like, so we got ship 21 and ship 20 in the background. I'm going to zoom out a little bit more.
22.
Sorry, everybody. Oh, what did I say?
You said 20. That's over. That's stacked on the booster.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. anyways, the cool thing is, like, looking at these two, you can see that they're already making a little bit of a design change on some things. The way they just integrated all of the cables and wiring and just the pipes just all at once on 21 up at the top, that was quite interesting. And I do seriously think this is going to be the Franken rocket of Franken rockets. It's going to be taking pieces from all over the place to stick it together very cheaply, and maybe that's our first orbital rocket. But it also could be a
What?
hypersonic test flight rocket. Who knows?
Are you saying the mongrel lives?
This isn't a mongrel.
Could be.
Well, I mean, it kind of is, but it's a
The
Franken rocket.
next generation mongrel. Does that make it a mutt?
Well, it's not booster parts, so that would be the mongrel,
Right.
or maybe an abomination, but that's not that.
So I saw Mauricio got a good picture of these down here, which are
What are
more
those?
stairs for the Widebay. So the stairs, it's really hard to see them. They're actually in here. There's a
There's another
temporary set of
picture.
stairs. Yeah, there's got to be a better one. Oh, look at
There you
that.
go.
So right here, you can see them building the next set. And man, this is funny.
Yeah,
They
the
have
next
to
is pretty much
drop
done.
them down all the way through this hole in order to get down there. I don't get why they're not just doing them as they're going up, but I guess it's a lot easier to build a section than it is to build a staircase.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they have not started with the elevator. I've noticed these are the elevator rails down here. Maybe I can get a different angle of that. Oh,
So
man.
they'll possibly have 2 sets of stairs and an elevator going to the top, or different floors.
Yeah, I haven't figured out where the elevator is going to be yet.
In the center.
What do you mean?
I think it'll be in the center. Normally they'll
Center-
put stairs on either
center of
ends,
what?
and then they'll put the elevator in the center of
Oh,
Widebay.
of the wall?
Yeah, or of the building itself.
Like in the very center?
Yeah, potentially.
No,
Okay.
Impossible.
definitely not. No, you can't do that.
And when it happens,
You have to
all shall
have
eat
you have to
crow.
have these supports on the side right here. Like it's most likely going to be on the external of the building because you need all this bracing in order to put the rails for the elevator.
It's just like on Highbay, as that one is currently.
Yeah, you have to mount them to rails like this. You can't just put them in the middle of the building. It'll collapse on itself.
So, Thomas, question I had about the Widebay. Eventually, they're going to want to integrate, say, satellites into Starship. Do you think they're going to use Widebay as their integration building, where they put the satellites on the Starship? And if so, how on earth do you think they're going to accomplish that?
I don't think Widebay would do that, specifically because it will be a construction environment. You want a clean room environment, so they're going to have to build a new building. I remember looking at old documents, and I still suspect that a great place to do that is at the BFC Shed. So we'll be able to see that BFC Shed site a little bit later here, but that will probably be the location where they will build a clean room. It's just big enough to fit starships and cranes and satellites and at least 2 starships at any given time.
So BFC standing for Big Forgotten Crane, I believe.
Pretty much at this point, yeah. This is it. This is the site. This is the BFC Shed. That's the big building there that's white. And the BFC crane is just right there. It's an Appleton Marine Products crane. We have no idea on its lift capacity, but it's never been used and probably at this rate never will.
Really? You don't think it'll ever be used?
Not for the Starship operations they have here. It's just a rotating crane. So unlike a crane that would be able to be like a bridge crane, which is all sorts of useful, this just rotates, around in a circle and lifts things up, and you can, move it backwards and forwards. You can see the rails on it, those 2 little triangle, or that one triangle piece in the front, those 2 parallel lines at the top of the lattice structure there.
So would it be good for like Deimos or Phobos? Potentially.
No, probably not.
Because you're going to be doing the same operations on those ships as you will at the OLIT. So this is actually should go to I don't know. I think they actually sold it. There's a buyer for it, and they just haven't shipped it out yet. And this is part of them staging it up so that they can ship it out. So hopefully that buyer gets his stuff soon, so that we don't have to take up all this space with this forgotten crane, and all that everybody can not have to cry anymore that it's not on the tower. A lot of people really wanted to see it on top of the tower.
It was my first rabbit hole.
Topic.
It probably is not able to lift the correct capacity. We did have the Appleton Marine guys out there probably like 8 or 10 months ago. They went, checked out the crane, like as if they're going to certify it for a new buyer or something, but we're not sure.
Well, let me see. Is there anything else in this area? They're always adding concrete over here as they have time. So they add some new concrete back here. If anybody, if you guys aren't following us on Twitter, make sure you do that. My Twitter handle at the bottom is CSI Starbase. If you guys were seeing some posts that I put up earlier in the week after Mauricio showed this back area, these are crane sections for both Bucky and Marvin, which is the SpaceX LR11000 crane. So these are interchangeable because they're for the same crane. And I think that we should see them move these soon in order to extend the other crane, but we will see. Oh, wow. We just hit 420 likes and stopped there. You guys are amazing.
These are not actually going to be interchangeable. They're different versions of the same crane. So it's the same series of crane, but it's the parts are a bit different for these two. Your screen kind of went a bit dark there. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I like to screenshot that 420, and now it's over. So
I see what that was.
Yeah.
Hey guys, just a reminder: if you'd like to ask any questions, it's exclamation point question, and then type whatever you would like to ask, and we'll be sure to get to it.
Speaking of which, do you want to go through and do we actually have any questions to go through right now that we would like to hit?
I don't believe we have any questions in the queue right now.
Okay.
We're just answering everything as we go along. I mean, what's to ask?
There are a couple of older questions that were asked a little bit earlier. There was something about WL Animals asking, aren't the existing wellheads in the new large square where the absorption columns will go?
Yes. So I was looking at that, and it's not a high producing well. It's never been a real phenomenal well for production. But if there's any production that you can get out of that, I'm thinking they might use that just to purify gas on site in smaller amounts. But really, I think that they need to run a gas pipeline out there. That's what I would do. They have so many gas pipelines in the Brownsville area, and even running down the shipyards not too far from here, I wouldn't see it as being a major problem to run a short spur pipeline to the SpaceX facility to supply all the natural gas in the world. And mind you, it would be 0.01% of the natural gas flowing through the area. That area produces and ships and pipes millions and millions and millions of cubic feet of natural gas daily or monthly. So it'd be a very small amount in comparison.
And actually, it's environmentally it would be better. Would you rather? I mean, how many trucks was it? You had 344, I think, for the number of trucks that had to refill Starship. Is what you had in your infographic, something like that.
GPJ.
Yeah.
And part of that was methane. But the amount that you could reduce of trucks if you could just run a pipeline, there is an existing pipeline mostly there. There's just segments missing that they would have to continue and add on, and I think they have fiber in it. So apparently you can run fiber in active gas pipelines. That's what Dave told me.
Data fiber?
But if you have a fiber cut inside of that gas line, I mean, I don't know how you can fix it though.
I don't know how you got the cut in the first place. That's the bad issue.
But yeah, that said, it sounds like more of a refurbishment issue and not so much a whole new environmental assessment and all that. That area is already littered with natural gas pipelines. And like you said, pipelines are the environmentally friendly way to ship and transport gas. It leaks less. It's cheaper in terms of diesel usage to transport it, less people involved. So it's just more efficient all the way around.
Yeah, and on the technicality, it's actually not SpaceX who's doing this. It would be Lone Star Energy LLC, a sister company to SpaceX, but a completely separate business unit. Which,
Yeah.
of course, it's splitting hairs, but
All right.
That's what we like to do.
Yeah. So what are
There's-
we looking at here, Zach? Or sorry, you had something, Indian?
No, I was just going to ask a question that Chrome Kiwi had pretty much about the picture we're looking at. He's asking, what is the disc outside the pizza oven?
that's the interesting $10,000 question right now. I've just been calling that the wagon wheel. I mean, it
Mhm.
kind of looks like a massive wagon wheel. Some speculation so far on this has been that they will be using it for Raptor Center booster, maybe for like a puck shucker or something, but it is still not yet complete. There's 10 spokes, but one of them goes all the way through. So it's kind of unusual for what we're thinking it would be then. So it's still not quite built out, but there's a couple of stands. They look like giant M's just up above a little bit to the left. Those seem to be going with it. They've got the same paint scheme and maybe are going with that, but then again, those could be for something else. But below that, we actually do have something where we do know what they are and what they're probably for. Grid fins for, what I believe is Booster 7.
So Thomas, the wagon wheel, I actually built one of those once when I was working in a heat exchanger factory. So that may be, I've seen that before, that exact structure, and about that size. It was a very large boiler and a heat exchanger. Could be entirely different use, but I have built something that looks strikingly similar to that.
Because if
This
that's
almost
the
looks like the
case,
base for those absorption columns.
Mm-hmm.
well, if it's a heat exchanger, the thing that you will need for that is part of the process is you'll have to have another large tank that's not going to be as large as these other three. Those will be probably like a 3-stage process. This other part would be for one of the loops on that process potentially if it's a heat exchanger.
Did you, Jen, see the image of the disc flipped over from January 14th, perchance?
Yeah, it was laying over on this side for quite a while. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. I may be able to grab up an older picture really quick, but we'll see. In the meantime, as I'm looking for that, actually, hold on.
So there's one in our area. And while you're looking for that, there are a couple of questions. There's a question from Marco. He's asking, pipeline is connected to the launch site? Is the pipeline connected to the launch site?
No, not
No.
yet. I highly recommend doing that for an increased cadence of launches. That said, if this remains a testing facility, as Elon did, and they never ramp up launches to a full production cadence here, then a pipeline won't be necessary, and trucks can fill up the tanks over many days or weeks, and then you can have a launch. That said, if they want to have multiple launches per week, a pipeline is almost a necessity.
So if they do install a pipeline, it would be a cryogenic pipeline where they install what are called vacuum insulated pipes, or VIP. Those particular pipes are extremely expensive because you have to have, basically for each section, weld in 2 spots. There are companies who make longer sections that it's already vacuum sealed on most of it. You just need to do like a 40-foot run or more. So whatever you can get on the back of the truck. Sometimes you can get a bit more on some longer trucks, but they're not the normal kind. They're wide loads. They're considered wide loads because they're so long. Anyways,
The other option is that you could run the oxygen, nitrogen, and methane out to the site and then re-chill it and run it in non-cryogenic pipes and then rechill it using some of the nitrogen once it arrives.
Most
But,
likely
yeah.
that would be the numbers I looked at. That would be the more expensive route to go for rechilling it for electricity costs. So the pipeline, once you installed it, it's going to last about 40 years and be cheaper on that. If you're already doing that, you do all three and get it over with.
All right, I'm good with that plan then.
Let's do it.
As long as you both agree. So real fast, we want to thank 55 Chevy Guy Steve for his $20 super chat donation. He also asked a question: could the BFC crane be used to load satellites into the cargo section? That's a good question.
It just rotates pretty much.
I don't think it's that kind of crane.
What kind of crane is it?
It's an overhead. It's an overhead crane, so it's not really meant to reach inside of things, which is what you would be doing with when you're loading payload, unless they laid the Starship down first, then they could do that. But I don't think they'll ever lay a Starship down. So you want to have almost more like a forklift type structure, like a something that lifts up from the bottom and can slide in my opinion, and or a vehicle assembly building, which is going to have stuff like that. That crane in particular is already sold, so it won't be it definitely won't be used for that purpose.
And I see you found that image you were looking for, but real fast, we want to thank and welcome Luis Hernandez to the RGV Early Access membership. Thank you for joining. And then GB, did you want to talk about that image?
Yeah, they wanted to see the bottom side of it, so I found the bottom. I wasn't sure what you guys wanted to mention about it, Thomas.
But yeah, it's 13 spots, which matches up for the 13 center engines of the Raptor. So it's either part of a puck shucker or some sort of interesting other system, but puck shucker would be a good guess so far.
So deconstructed puck shucker?
In progress.
In
puck
progress.
Shucker. Yeah.
Okay.
Puck shucker part. Say
Got
that
it.
3 times fast.
No, thank you.
All right. So back to the build site. Man, I've been waiting for them to take these out of these boxes for a long time. I don't know what they are. Oh,
I know exactly what those are. Those are those are spinky cranes, is like what we call them. They're just cranes. They're let's see here. Not bridge, not what's the other one? They ride along the floor. Gantry cranes, yes.
Oh, okay. For production inside of the tents, possibly.
The new tent that they haven't built yet, I'm guessing.
Or existing, yeah.
Well, we're expecting them to build another tent down on the over here. So it would make sense to have that kind of stuff laying around ahead of time before they finish constructing it.
What about the tent that they built where they took out the building? Like a week or two ago.
That's right where Zach was talking about, over to the right.
There's already things in this tent. It's full.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
everything
this
out.
is not a ring. This isn't a ring tent. This one right here will be a ring tent.
It was amazing. They basically said everything out. We're moving the tent, and then they moved the tent, everything back in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're pretty quick. It looks like they're almost done grading all this stuff. It takes a long time because you have obviously your wetlands area over here, and so the water is going to want to come underneath actually, and the ground will swell up, and a lot of times you're going to have to dig down a lot and put multiple different layers of gravel and caliche in order. You can actually see it right here that they've dug down a lot, and they're filling it back in now, and the heavier the mass they put on top of it, the better it'll squeeze the water back out. So it's not easy to do that, and it takes a lot of effort in order to stop something from swelling with the groundwater. And this is why Lab Padre cameras are hard to level, because this is the kind of work you have to put into into the base in order to make that happen. So
you can already see a buildup of water right just to you're right there on your mouse.
Yeah, right here. Yep. It comes up.
You can't control which way the water goes, right? When you put those things down, when you put the weight in?
You can control the way the water goes by adding weight on surface. So a lot of times, specifically at the launch site, one of the things they would do was build mini berms.
Mm-hmm.
And who was I talking to this about? I think it was either Phil Kid or Dave. They would build berms in order to add dirt piles on surface, and the more dirt there is, the heavier it is, and you're
Mm-hmm.
creating like a wall on surface that affects what happens underground. It stops the underground water from coming underneath. So
There's
you don't want
another simple way is you can actually run basically cloth and a weep system that is like a French drain. It brings the water away from it. You could even use pumps to pull the water from the let's say a well at part of the weep system in order to remove the water as an issue in that area, and that's one way that is used to help mitigate some of those issues.
So Tony has a question. He's asking just how far above seawater level is the entire site?
it's at sea level. It's
12
the
feet.
launch site is probably 20 or ish feet, I would say. Down that they've built it up, but before it was like Thomas said. You said 12 feet.
Yep. There's
Yeah.
the documents show about 12 feet above sea level, which is the maximum height during the like lunar phase. You'll
Hurricane?
have during a normal lunar phase, it's about 12 feet above sea level.
And that's
Okay.
what PK was telling us, right? Because of the building requirements. They had to be so far above sea level.
In order to build a house or anything.
So above high tide.
Yes, high tide.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter the phase of the moon or how much light is shining on it. The tide should follow just the orbit of the moon and the rotation of the Earth.
Fair enough. We also have some more donations. Jim Cavett upgraded his membership to RGV Early Access. Congratulations, Jim. And we have a super chat from Faya. I'm so sorry I butchered this name. Faya Venpri. You'll have to pull me aside and teach me how to say your name. I have a very difficult name as well. Will we ever see an assembly building, aka SLS? Would such a building make stacking and fitting faster, easier, and safer?
Yes, I think we actually just covered that question with mine of how they're going to assemble this, and it was over at the BFC shed that we covered just a minute ago. They had some FAA plans, I understand, to build a new building there for the integration, and like Thomas said, it would be a much more clean room environment rather than a construction environment.
But one thing to mention, unlike the SLS, you're not going to be stacking the booster and Starship and then moving it over. So we'll stack them on site as far as the Starship and booster sections.
Yep, I don't think we'll ever see anything quite as big as the Cape Kennedy vehicle assembly building. That is one of the largest, tallest buildings on Earth. And it's just, that one's impressive too. I can't wait to go see it in person.
Yeah. One thing that I think, did somebody say that they leased out space in the VAB potentially?
Yeah, they that was posted. I'm not sure if it's confirmed, but yeah, they had wanted to. Somebody was exploring using the VAB for SpaceX to do assembly and integration.
So one thing I wanted to point out that I missed earlier, we talked about this area last week. So initially there was some thought that it would be a patio. I was kind of thinking they were going to build a structure out here for offices or something. It looks like it. I think this is overhead coverage right here too. So it's actually maybe like a reception area or something.
Yeah, wheelchair access on both sides. And
yeah, and is it on both sides?
Yeah, so there's a ramp going up on your at the bottom, and then just to your right there's another ramp.
Right. So this goes into the building, and this is above the entrance, right?
So you see the steps going up. There's a wheelchair ramp just to the right.
Yeah, no, I see that.
Yeah, and then there's another one going from the parking lot straight up as well.
Oh, this one?
No, just between the two. So the concrete and then the building itself. So just go up a little bit on your mouse. Yeah,
right?
you just Well, go
Yeah.
Anyways, there's those
I'm
two.
excited. This is our first ADA compliant building, right?
Stargate's actually ADA compliant,
Oh, okay.
except the upstairs part. I don't know how they're getting up and down those stairs.
Yeah.
I really love the design of those stairs. That's nice.
I think I'm circling through these right now. I can't tell if I'm back at the. Oh wow, that's a way better picture.
There you can see the
Yeah.
that part. Wait a second. Something's a little bit okay. Yeah. I
What
was
did
thinking
you
that the
see?
wheelchair ramp was actually to the right. No, it's actually just right from the parking lot straight up. I don't know what that gap's about then, but otherwise, yeah, it's just a building for your reception and really nice vending machines. Not vending machines, fridges.
This right here is a flower pot.
Ooh, very nice.
That's what they need more of. It's SpaceX flowers.
I say so.
Massive flower
I
pot.
agree.
Can't go wrong with flowers.
Better than the septic system just below your mouse.
Yeah, I
Smells
got to
better
agree
too.
with that.
At one
Um,
point they tried to plant palm trees out there, but I'm not sure what happened to them. I know that at the village there's some, but the ones by the build site I can't see those anymore.
I talked to a
think-
lady who she was directly like talking to SpaceX about that the palm trees before that was an issue. She said these won't last or live because you are basically putting them in brackish water. There's not enough proper soil there, and you're not watering them properly, and they all died. So she was right, months ahead of time. So the palm trees just don't work right there the way they were doing them.
So Zach, if you go back one picture, you had a highlight of the palm trees there. If you were to the bottom left, there's the palm trees along the
right.
Yeah,
Olympus
these are the new
Mons.
ones.
You guys, we're gonna hit 600 viewers right as we move over to cover stage
Yeah.
0.
Yeah.
This is actually the first time that we've hit 600 viewers live, so thank you guys. We're really excited to have you guys here. And on that note, if you guys haven't liked the stream yet or subscribed, make sure you do both. Also, if you guys like the content that you're hearing right now and you're not already following us on Twitter, I believe our information is on the bottom of the screen. I'm not looking at the screen, but I think it's down there.
It is.
Yeah, so like I said, we appreciate you guys for being here. This is really amazing. It looks like we dropped back down, but it's okay. I saw it go over 600. That's all that counts. And with that, I think, is it stage 0 time, guys? I feel like it's stage 0 because we still got to cover some ground picks.
One moment
If you
before
got
that,
some reservations, let me know.
we could reintroduce ourselves one more time,
Let's
just
do
so
that.
people know. I'm Thomas from Lab Padre, as well as now RGV as far as commentary.
And hey guys, I'm Grandpa Joe. I'm an IT guy and rocket armchair expert, and just a lover of all things SpaceX. And and Indian Star, over to you.
I'm Indian Star. I am not an armchair expert of anything, but I do like to ask questions, and I enjoy learning all this stuff. So thanks for letting me come along for the ride, guys.
Glad to have you.
And my name is Zach. I also go by Golden Boy and CSI Starbase. I'm also a commentator for Lab Padre and RGV, and I am an editor for Marcus House, and I work in supply chain management. I basically just manage capital equipment purchases, and I have a pretty big background in engineering as far as oil and gas and just engineering design work. So that's all my background, I guess. Like I said, you guys can see our Twitter information on the bottom. If you guys have more questions that we don't get to during this stream, make sure you guys contact us on Twitter, because I always love to answer questions, and a lot of times we just don't have the chance to get to some of them, especially if we move on from that area. So we still want to answer your guys' questions, so that's a great place to reach us if you ever have any lasting questions that we don't get to. And with that, I think it's time to move on to the launch site.
Yay!
Sorry, I didn't have it ready to go. I'm really excited about this.
Hey, what about me? You forgot about me or what?
I know. I was
Oh
gonna
my gosh.
ask.
What are you? What are you on about, Zach?
I just get so excited with stage 0, man.
Well, okay.
You know
Well,
how
I'm
it
just
is.
the guy that took the photo. That's all you
Yeah,
need to know.
I'm so
Whoa.
sorry.
I'm just gonna back out a bit. No, but
No.
on a serious. What are you doing? But anyways, I'm gonna be dropping the wallpaper downloads for. Uh, I don't even know what I'm saying right now because Zach threw me off. But yeah, stick around. I'm gonna be dropping the wallpaper downloads exclusive for YouTube members.
For the full
Exclusive
stack.
for people that are watching right now of the full stack of some ground shots. So just stick around for that.
Apologies, Mauricio. I get too hyped up sometimes.
I'm going to throw one more thing out there. Whenever we were designing the bottom of the YouTube, we left off RGV's Twitter handle. I mean, I know he's got the most out of any of us by far, and everybody knows him, but we forgot that too.
So I'm getting kicked off. You're gonna take off the
No.
logo too.
Hey, Mauricio,
No.
it's been nice, but I think we're gonna have to part ways here.
No.
Oh man.
Just kidding.
Well, you know what? I'm really confused. So, Mauricio, you've driven down there recently. When I last saw this, I thought they already replaced this part. Did they just put a top layer on it, or did they redo it again?
It looks fresh. It looks fresh. It looks like they completed that just prior to the event.
Yeah, I remember just to the left of your mouse or a bit down below that was where the new road was at, and then now this is the newest road is now covering the new road. So it's kind of strange.
So it's a top layer, right?
Yeah, little civil engineering that I just went through in my hometown. What they'll do often is redo the road base, which is the strong, sturdy layer that lasts for many generations. And then they'll throw a top coat, just a thin layer of asphalt on top that is the wear layer. And as it wears down through weather and cranes and trucks going over it, they just replace that layer rather cheaply. And you can actually recycle all of the asphalt on the top layer. So it has both the structural rigidity underneath and it has the cheap, reliable, and renewable surface on top.
Just needs a little bit of heat and tar or something like that, right?
Right.
Pretty much.
So one thing that people don't know about this area is that this spot, well, a lot of people do know, this spot right here is in the future going to be a crane parking lot. So the big LR 11,000 crane that SpaceX has during launch events will most likely come all the way over here and lay itself down. Once they actually finish this off, you can see they've at least barely just started what's going to end up being here. But yeah, this will be a big, huge pad for that crane to lay down when they're not using it, so it doesn't get destroyed by falling debris. And that'll be really exciting when they start doing that, because that, my opinion, gets us closer to orbital launch. Like, they could just move the crane all the way to the build site, but that's an operation that you don't want to have to do because it requires a road closure, whereas moving it over here does not.
Hey Zach,
Yes, sir.
I just recently did an overlay of the proposed expansion for the launch site. I just sent it over to the Discord in case you want to show that. I
I've
haven't
got
released that on
the bottom
Twitter.
there for
Right, it might be a good time just to show this exclusive view at this point. I haven't released this image yet.
That's great. I like
Yeah, we
that
could do that.
image.
Can you see it?
Yeah, we
Yep.
see it, and
Wow.
you see the crane area you're talking about just to the left there. Nice
Yeah.
little
Ooh,
rectangle
man,
box.
That was a big zoom. I did not mean to do that. But yeah, this is it right here. Oh, okay. I was wrong. I thought it started over here. I guess it actually starts over here.
Still the pond area. Close enough.
Yeah. And ideally, man, this might actually not happen for a while now that I think about it. So the way that they would have to do that is by building this road right here. So there should be, oh, that's a berm extension. Okay. So this road right here is how the crane would get to that spot. But they have not started building in this area at all. And that is one of the big things that's, two of the very large things that are missing is this Dang, this overlay has gotten a lot better from the first time I saw it. This retention pond, this actually even looks like it's graded down. It's kind
Yeah,
of cool.
that's
It's a cool
what it's
effect.
supposed to be. You got elevations there, and then there's
Yeah.
another retention pond for the orbital side
Retention
over
pond
here.
over here. This is one thing we're really waiting on. This makes me think that the water deluge will spray across this way.
So this is for all the concrete that they have. They have cars parked all over the place. You have some water deluge system, and as Grandpa Joe the other night mentioned, an infinite deluge replenishment system. Not quite, but you could collect the water in that area if there's enough water to use for your deluge system. Basically, 39A has a similar system. They do have their water tower, but they start pumping in water, and you see it squirt out the sides. And basically, yeah, it's at max capacity, but the pumps are working away, and then they open up the main valves for the what are those called? The sprinklers. Always the rainbirds. Sorry, they open up the rainbird valves and just let it go.
Yeah, I'm hoping they are able to get started on this part soon, because a lot of things, in my opinion, depend on that as far as actually having the water deluge system in place. I think they won't be able to do it until that happens.
Just imagine how many trucks of concrete they'll need to deliver out there for all this.
Oh yeah, it's going to be insane.
Dirt is going to be even more.
I see a question that just came in. Somebody asked if we know where suborbital pad C is going to be, and that would be, well, they haven't named it, but it should be this one right here. And then there's another pad D is right here.
So, Zach, do you see the suborbital pads being primarily used as testing stands for static fires, or do you think they'll actually do more suborbital hops there?
They are good testing stands. I mean, I think the booster stands are good because that allows you to bring a booster here and have a place to put it and start doing testing. Like, so they could put a booster out here without engines, and they could bring it to the testing pad, like C or D, and start doing their cryo tests while also doing all the stuff underneath it, other than adding engines on, most likely. But yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that they start those soon. I mean, they have all the pieces they need for it. I think they just have other priorities right now. And one of the questions that's kind of related to this. Oh wow. Rocket Prophet asked, have Bernie and Ernie been removed from the new parking lot? And I gonna just quickly tell you the
No, I
answer
don't
to
think so.
that is they are right here. Right here.
Oh, good.
Safe and sound.
We spent so many hours watching those two. There are two palm trees that are survivors, and we would hate to see them go.
Yeah, this particular site, the pad cam was at, and it may have been a bait shop or something like that many
50
years
ago. Yep.
Yeah.
Good fishing down there.
You guys, you know what I like more than anything is when a plan comes together.
Mm-hmm.
I see some footings.
So
What could ever go there? It looks about the same distance apart as those two other footings, right up
they're a little
above.
shorter. So the two tanks at the Sanchez site, and I'm gonna actually go pull that up while I'm talking.
To tie it all together here.
Yeah, I will do that because that'll help things make a little more sense. So the two tanks at the Sanchez site are basically, we've been assuming that they're gonna come here for a long time, and I mean it's starting to look more and more like that every single day, which is nice. Because that gets us closer to actually having enough storage capacity to do a full stack, in my opinion. We have Thomas's ran numbers and kind of show that they do currently have enough with just these two tanks potentially.
Potentially, but then when you go to cryogenic levels, when you're trying to really compress it down, it might not fit for the full launch. But even then, it's like you have no read attempts. There would not be enough capacity for that. even in
Oh,
that mode.
Adding in two more smaller tanks then puts them into where they have a margin for success.
Exactly. And those pads you see right there will
Sorry.
fit it will fit 4 pads will just be for one of these tanks, so you need another 4.
I think actually there's only 1 pad per or 2 pads per tank. So each of these will have there'll be 1 pad here, 1 pad here, 1 pad here, 1 pad here, because these are a lot thinner than the other tanks. They're a lot slimmer, I should say. So
I
switching
see
back,
a 20-foot shipping container right there. So it's about 15 feet.
I see what appears to be 6 squares too. Anyway,
oops,
shiny
hold on.
object.
Let me see if I can get an overhead picture of it really quick.
Electrical vaults. That's what those
We're
were.
gonna get close. All
So
right.
while we're looking, do you know if they need to do a
Oof.
full stack for cryoproofing the tower? Ayush is asking.
Yes.
Ooh, great question. Yes.
We can touch into that in a little bit
Sure.
because it's a long topic. We will definitely touch on that. Shout out to what was her name again?
His name is Ayush.
Ayush. Okay. Shout out to Ayush for being a Stage 0 fan. I appreciate the question for sure.
You are now GB's best friend.
Yeah, this is crazy what I'm seeing here right now. So, wow. Okay, so not only do they have the 2 footings, and sorry for the police sirens in the background. I live in Chirac, so that's a staple of this
Aw.
area. Is that there's constantly people in need of assistance. So, yeah, they have 2 large footings here, and these are closer together than they are for these 2 tanks. But like I was saying, these ones that will go here are smaller. They're actually about the width of these, but they're the length probably takes them up to this rib. So they're a little bit smaller. We're basically going to have a bunch of different sized Tic Tacs over here, and they will more than likely build oh wow, are those okay? These are pallets of bricks, I think, because
They could
these
just
are
be
also
knack
pallets of
boxes.
bricks. You
Those are
might be
brick to
right.
the left.
These are
Those
bricks for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if these ones are. You're
They're
right. I
knack
don't think they are.
boxes. They're
Yeah.
tools.
So these bricks right here are we mentioned this last week. They're going to build most likely a CMU wall, which is concrete masonry unit. That's what each of these things are called, concrete masonry units. You can see looks like they've started stacking them up in here. It's hard to get a picture of that area right now, / nobody really takes pictures of that area. I do have one. I think we have some in the ground photos, and Ground Truth photos sent me one as well. So I'll get to those in a little bit. But basically what's happening here is this is the pipeline that is used for offloading methane. So the truckers back into this. There's ports 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a bunch of ports on here where the truckers can back in and offload methane. And that will fill these 2 tanks and also these 2 tanks. So when you're offloading into this location, you'd be filling up all 4 tanks. And that is the alternate to filling just these 2 big tanks. So if it wasn't for the fact that these have to be here now, I think that this would have remained a drive around. They would have been able to drive around here, and they may potentially have tried to offload methane from a different side, like on the backside, or instead of doing it in the front with the liquid oxygen, I would have done it against this back wall, or sorry, where the berm was. I think that they should have done that to begin with, but they don't really have a choice now. And most likely, they haven't fully finished removing the berm right here. They also still have where'd the tunnel go? Oh, there's the berm tunnel being painted for no reason.
Before the event.
Yeah, before the event. Hey, Mauricio, did Elon walk out of this tunnel?
Actually, he just appeared on the stage, kind of magically.
Wow.
So then he
What?
could have. He
I don't
totally
know where
could
he
have.
came from.
He
You
came
just
from the
distracted, and all of
tunnel.
a sudden he's on the stage.
No, where the stage is on the right side. That little small
So
area
go
right
to the
there.
right. There you go.
Right there.
Yeah.
That's the stage.
You got the two screens, the
Oh,
one
I
on the
thought he
left
was
and the
on this
right.
one.
So I'm
That's
guessing
the audience.
they drove him to the stage and they just showed up.
I think maybe he was hiding underneath it the whole time.
Could be.
I see they
Sounds
have
like
a
something he would
stair
do.
rail. They have a stair rail back behind there for the stage.
Yeah. The only way we're going to know for sure is if Elon comes on the show next week and lets us know whether or not he was hiding underneath the stage or
Oh,
if they
did we
dropped him
invite
off.
him last
We
week?
didn't. Yeah, I forgot, honestly.
Ah,
Yeah.
all right.
Sorry, Elon. You can come on next week if you're free. We can make it work. But
We don't have any other guests in the way that we need to reschedule, or
yeah,
okay,
we'll be fine.
we'll make room. We'll find a spot to fit them in somewhere in there.
So one of the weird things I was just noticing is the way that these pipes come off of here. And I don't know. I think this.
They're storing them, I think. They're not actually coming off. It looks like they're
Oh,
not
I know what this
connected.
is. These are going to be, so you'll have parking spot spaces where the trucks can park straight right here. And my voice just cracked. I'm getting taller and growing every day. You have a few parking spots right here. There's about 5. And then over here, it's going to be harder to do that because the trucks need to be able to back in. And so maybe, and I could be wrong, by doing these diagonal, you can allow the trucks to come in through this direction and then back in. So you can have 1, 2, 3 offloading ports over here. And I think also the berm will come back behind this, behind the offloading station.
So you're getting more station density there.
Yes.
This might be a perfect time to bring up two of my favorite topics. So it would appear then that they're adding additional loading points so that you can reduce the amount of time it would take to refill the tanks. So on the existing vertical tank farm for the orbital pad, you are at, I believe it was 17 or 18 load points. And here, what do we suspect?
Well, let's we can go over there and look at it actually. So I'm actually going to repost it at some point because I had to redo all of my old Twitter posts because I was inspired by Taylor Swift, and now I'm going to change them into a different format.
Wait, you were inspired by Taylor Swift? What? How?
Yeah,
She
remix.
re-recorded all of her albums.
Oh.
Yeah. Shout out to T Swift. She don't really watch this. I feel
You
like
don't-
Katy
you don't
Perry
know
might.
about- It's really Lady Gaga's our biggest supporter.
Well, Katy Perry
How
makes
can she
videos in
not
front of
be?
starships, so I feel like
Yeah,
she'd be
she does.
the first one.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
So about the parking spaces, you can actually see them right here. So these are the only active ones right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so you have your offloading ports here, and they can basically offload either liquid nitrogen or liquid oxygen in these spots. And right here is where it stops. So all the way up until this line, they can load liquid oxygen or liquid nitrogen. And oops, in the initial setup, from here down was methane. So there was 12 LOX and 5 methane, and which was also 17 liquid nitrogen ports. But now they got rid of that, which is really good because you should not be offloading LOX next to methane. And they cut it off. So that you can see right here, there was a double pipe. They cut it off. I think it actually went through the wall right here. They cut that off, and now instead they go all the way around to the landing pad to offload instead of doing it right here. So what the little piece that was right here got relocated into all of that.
Nice.
It's a lot.
That's going to help out so much.
It's a lot, yeah.
Now, that's a
like
big
you can see
improvement.
here now, you can see the way that diagonal looks. I can just see it like them pulling in through here and then backing up. It looks like they'd have enough space, maybe.
One of the
So
numbers went through and I found was that it'd about take 24 hours for the old design to fully reload the facility to be able to, let's say, launch another Starship that quickly.
Yeah, I think I redid our numbers together, Thomas, and I upon further calculation, found it to be almost 2 full days possible, with estimating in turnaround time, fully unloading, getting out of the way, connecting, and doing all the safety checks. If you take the existing per truck time to unload, I came up to almost 2 days to unload with the old configuration. With this new configuration, just off the cuff, that might knock it down to under a day to fully load just for one launch. Now, to fully fill all of the tanks that are available, you might be looking at 4 to 5, maybe even 6 days. And that right there tells me if they're investing more time in expanding the truck unloading, then they're going to stick with trucks. They're not going to do the explore doing the pipeline right now, and this will remain a test facility where they're not doing production cadence of launches. With that said, the second part of my question, Zach, was in the presentation, Elon mentioned a time frame for loading the Starship. Do you remember offhand how long that would take? And I know
To load the Starship,
yeah, he said under
30
an
minutes.
hour, 30 minutes.
I think so.
And
I actually didn't hear that part. I think I missed it.
And to the bottom left, you can see the pumps that would be doing all that work to load up the Starship.
Yeah, and I just wanted to touch base on that because there's, oh man, I'm gonna have to get a better picture. So, on the methane side, they actually have pumps 1 and 2, and I wrote an article about this yesterday. They're initially pumps 1 and 2 were installed. They removed pump 2 and took it out, I believe, and then they lifted pump 4 into place. And then they've placed the canister for pump 2 back in there. They were in the process of lifting the actual pump itself when Mauricio flew over. He always catches things when they're in the air. So they were actually lifting the pump back over there. And so they'll put 2 back in. 3 is laying on the ground somewhere over here. So basically they're going to have all 4 methane pumps. And I didn't really actually say it in my article, which is funny because nobody ever calls me out on these things. The reason I say this is a delay is because not only when they're adding these pumps, they're most likely going to also be adding in the heat exchangers as well, in my opinion. And the reason I say that is because you can see. Here, let's look on the backside actually. So you can see right here, this is the pipe that goes into the first heat exchanger on the bottom. Then there's the second one that goes right there, and they have the third. They have not tapped into this one yet, but it looks like they're going to. But this one is at least here. So at the very minimum, I'm going to go ahead and say that for sure they're going to bring one more heat exchanger in here, and that has not happened yet. So they're going to bring that in here. They have to extend this. They have to connect these, which are not connected. You can already see that they've extended this pipe right here in order to account for the other 2 hoses. But I think that it makes sense that they would also need both of these heat exchangers, because if you're adding more pumps, then you're going to try and pump at a higher rate. And then you also need to increase your rate of cooling in order to accomplish the same thing. Your goal is to be able to load, I think, the Starship and the booster at the same time. Like, I don't know if they're going to do it the way that they do with Falcon 9, where they do it one at a time. I think they do first stage and then second stage.
You'd still want to do the first stage, then the second stage, but you're still going very rapidly. So it doesn't matter if you did both at once or the bottom at once. As far as speed goes, you do want it for safety reasons to the bottom first, then
You don't
the top.
You don't want to pull an SN3, right?
No. And then you'd also have potential other issues if you have an open system that you're putting pressure on. You might have all of your fluids you're trying to put into the upper stage reverse direction go through the system and go to the lower stage, and that's a potential other issue there.
Yeah.
Speaking of those,
Go ahead.
Speaking of those heat exchangers, I have an image I'll share in just a moment with you of the internals of those heat exchangers. I'll send that to you in a second.
So I see all sorts
so
of red valves all over the facility. Those are looking so nice now.
Yeah, this thing is it's
Everywhere.
way cleaned up back here from what it was a few weeks ago. It looks a lot better. I mean, you can still see the wall back here. I don't get why they still have this wall up. I think they might take it down, but I don't know. I feel
Oh
like
no,
they
it's
only
it's
need,
part of the code. Like they had to have a certain code.
well,
They're following code, and that wall is part of that.
what I'm saying is I think that they should just take this down and extend it past the other ones because they're all the same thing. But they may not be able to use these. Like if they're using these right now, they may not be able to use them unless this wall is up. So that would make sense that they have that wall there. And what is going on down here? What did they change?
It's easier to certify one system and then certify another system if you're segmenting it off like that. That was one of the issues.
Well,
So they moved those away after it was because that long pipe was
the
over.
purge line.
Yeah, it was going further up up to the right. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
this
up
is the
to
one that was
left.
going over here, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so
and they moved it right
before
here.
the presentation, they cleaned house all over the facilities. They made sure everything was looking clean, and especially at the pad itself. You could see all the brush marks and everything there.
Yeah. And you know what? I want to explain this to people one more time since now this staging pad is visible. Oh man. Okay. I want to find the right image to do this. This might work. So right here you have a booster staging pad and you have a Starship staging pad. So these are made for you to put the booster transport stand and the Starship transport stand and connect them to these pipes over here. The pipes go down underneath the berm, up and across the back of the berm, and then they go down. And then they run into the main supply lines for the orbital launch mount and the launch integration tower. So you have your main supply lines that go into the bunker, and then they hit a bunch of valves that tell them where to go, and it either sends Jesus. This keeps happening to me. So it either sends it to the launch mount or it sends it to the launch tower. But out of all of those pipes, there's a T coming out of each one that connects them to these ones going across the back of the berm. And that means that if you've seen the new Starship transport stand, actually, the one that's sitting right here, it has a quick disconnect on it, which we saw them messing with for about 6 hours the other day as they were trying to get Ship 20 off of the transport stand. Well, this is not just a transport stand anymore. It's also now a test stand. So you can test and transport on the same stand. You just put it right here, right here, and connect it to the tank farm. And same thing with the booster one, you put that right here. And what that means is that you're able to, if with a full stack, if this tank farm was large enough, you would be able to do a cryo test on the booster, Starship, and another booster and Starship all at the same time. Because this launch mount is connected to the booster staging pad, and the Starship staging pad is connected to the launch integration tower.
They're
So
currently
they're
using
the
that.
same thing.
Yeah, they're currently using that, or they were, sorry, until they lifted Starship. They were using the integration area there to test the Starship.
Yeah, you could actually say that this is part of the OLIT and that this is part of the launch mount. Like in my opinion, you can call this part of the launch mount and this is part of the tower.
That feels very true.
The SpaceX calls those cryo stations. So the
Yes.
cryo station area. So that's what they said on the loudspeakers, and that makes perfect sense.
Oh, I can't wait to get to the towers, guys. But I did find that picture to post to you.
We might be able to get back to that question here in just a second that we were talking about before.
Oh yeah. I forgot
Yeah,
about that
so
one.
Indian
Sorry.
Star, could you bring up that question again? Because we're now at the point where we can probably go for it.
Did
Since we're
she
in the
make it
area.
back?
I think so. Maybe
We've
not yet.
lost her. She gone.
I think she must have fell off. Hopefully everything is okay. In the meantime, while we're waiting to see if she's gonna reestablish a connection,
Okay, so I got the question here.
Oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Ayush Nicole asks, do they need a full stack for cryo proof of the tower?
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, they definitely need
Super.
that. So real quick, this is a heat exchanger. I used to actually build these for a living. And so liquid oxygen comes in one side at its nominal, not freezing point, but condensation point of negative 183 degrees Celsius. And at the same time, they pump liquid nitrogen in, which is at 196 degrees Celsius. As the liquid nitrogen evaporates, it removes even additional heat from the liquid oxygen. SpaceX, in their liquid oxygen design, it's estimated that the liquid oxygen comes out at negative 203 degrees Celsius. So that's a 20-degree swing Celsius by going through those kettle boilers. Now that does two things. That produces a more densified gas, which allows for additional thrust because the denser you're throwing something out, the more inertia. Thank you, Mr. Newton. And also, the colder something is, the better cooling profile you have on the engine. And as Mr. Musk said, they were having trouble not melting the engine, and this helps. And so you get more thrust, you get more fuel, you get colder gas, you get better engine performance. So these kettle boilers provide all that. In the process, they use up all the liquid nitrogen. Now you're going to be producing liquid nitrogen as part of producing oxygen. So it's like free almost. You pull it out of the air, all it costs you is the electricity, and you were going to spend that making the oxygen anyway.
Yeah, and just to get another view of like how the pipe work for these things looks, this is a diagram or a render by Lolomatico 3D and his partner, Too Legit. Oh man, I forgot the rest of it. Hold on a second. We'll have them paste it in the chat comments. It's actually Too Legit to Quit 3D. Sorry, apologize. And Lolomatico 3D. And I met these guys on Twitter the other day or last week because I saw them with this tank farm rendering, and I was just super happy because honestly, nobody really cares about stage 0 or this part of stage 0, so it's very rare for people to render this. But you can kind of get a better view of what it looks like here, and this is the liquid oxygen side. You can see that your fluid comes in through the pumps. This is where your pumps would be, and then it goes up through this pipe and then into the top of the heat exchangers, and then through them and then back out. So when it comes down, this valve actually closes. This is called the detank valve. So with this valve closed, it's going to go out and up to either the launch mount or the launch tower. But when you're detanking, it comes back through that same pathway. And this is where it gets confusing because I think they just open this valve and then it flows straight back to the tanks. But I don't know how they stop it from going up into the heat exchangers, but I don't think it matters. I mean, it could go up into the heat exchangers and flow backwards, but it probably won't because this is the path of least resistance. But yeah, so when you detank, you're not going back through the pumps. You're just using the hydrostatic pressure of the what's already in the booster in Starship, like the height of the fluid. You're using the height of the fluid in order to pump it back into the tanks instead of actually using pumps to pump it into the tanks. So when this happens, you can actually see it. When they start the detank process, if you're watching from Sapphire Cam, you'll see the vapor trail travel from, it'll sweep across this way, and then sweep across this way, and then sweep across this way, and you'll see it hit here. And you can see every corner that it takes. and then you'll see this tank right here start to vent once it finally reaches the LOX tanks. It's really crazy. If you know what you're looking for, like I said, 1, 2, 3, like you'll see all of every turn that it makes, you'll see it, because the vapor will come off of the pipes. It's really, really cool.
Gets pretty frosty in there.
Super frosty. And like I said, make sure you guys follow these guys. They're I mean, he chose his name wisely, too legit. Hopefully that's his last name, or else people are gonna hate on him. People hated on me for calling myself Golden Boy, so he's gonna go through the same thing. But yeah, give those guys a follow. They're definitely making moves on this model, and I think it's just gonna keep getting better over time. So
love it.
Yeah, shout out to those guys.
Oh, and that other one was a Grandpa Joe original.
Oh yes, sorry, Grandpa Joe. It was a Grandpa Joe original. There's lots of those actually.
Most of them
Grandpa
are
Joe helped
just
me with
funny.
my background.
Hey Zach, real quick here.
Yes, sir.
I already dropped the wallpaper link, so you guys need to save that link because I'm gonna be deleting it. It won't be available for replay, so it's only for the live stream, the people that are watching us right now. So
Awesome.
So as long as the stream is live, we can download until we're done?
correct.
All right.
So
Should be
all of
updated.
those, you listening, 632 of you right now, click on that link to grab the wallpaper. Free stuff.
At the
As
same
always.
time, Thomas?
Yes, definitely.
And hit the like button when you do that. We want to make sure we're at least matching the likes with how many people are watching. So thank you guys for being here. Like I said, this is our biggest crowd so far. So this is it feels like it's getting better every week. So you guys being here definitely validates that for us. So we definitely appreciate you guys. And again, if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe and set the alerts as well too. There is a small chance that at some point we will do more midday shows. So if that happens, obviously you can also follow us on Twitter and get those alerts. But setting the actual alarm for RGV Aerial will be the quickest way to get notified that we're going live. So make sure you guys subscribe and hit those alerts.
So now it sounds like a good time to probably take some questions that what do you guys think?
Yeah, let's take some questions. Hey, I hear Indian Star, you're back.
I'm back. And you can also become a Patreon member too if you also want to support. I'm a Patreon member. I enjoy it. I'm also a YouTube member, so that's how much I like you, Mauricio. Okay, first question. Do you know? Sorry.
So we did slightly cover the last question, which was let me see here. Where were we at?
The one that starts. Do you know?
Let's see.
Asked?
We can just double ask it.
Yeah,
Okay.
double ask it. Yeah, let's
You
do
know.
that.
So this question is from Mark. He's asking, do you know what this little peninsula near the orbital launch mount is for? On the very east, the Florida of the launch site.
Yes. So it's part of their EIS back in 2014. They did an environmental impact statement, and then they did another one back in like 2019. They keep changing the boundaries of that, and so they're only able to work up to that boundary with the FAA and the EIS and updated environmental impacts. This is the line that they have. So we showed that map earlier that showed all the outlines of everything. It shows exactly the outline that is the fence line now that they can go up to, and so this is probably going to be one of the areas in the future that they will probably take trucks of dirt or something along those lines to bring out to the area and spread it around very quickly to offload all that. So that's part of that plan, I believe.
Thomas, is this the same place you were at when you were taking the photos in the backside when you had to wear the boots?
No. I was actually closer to Highway 4.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go ahead and say that this is also a security shed right here, because that's how they found me so quickly when I was hanging out over here. So
it wasn't the fact that you were sitting on their pipes taking pictures?
No, I was wearing a shirt that had a bunch of flowers on it, and it was brown. So I didn't really plan that one out well.
I see the aerial marker there, that little black and white grid, just top left of that, the shed there. Yeah.
What is it?
That's an aerial grid, so it's a marker to help find the exact GPS coordinates of a spot from the air, and they've they've got multiple of these. The SpaceX workers did at one point remove a couple of these because they thought it was debris from one of their starships, but no, they were for aerial shots to understand exact locations of items at Starbase for Starship and SpaceX employees working at the facilities here. But yeah, it helps with the photography as well for what RGV is doing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, did Mauricio, did you know that? Not sure if he's still with us. Oh,
Yeah, that's
okay.
used for photogrammetry.
Mm-hmm.
They're used to pinpoint any particular point so that when they scan the area every single time as time changes, those are points of reference.
So they never
Unfortunately,
get
they've
covered?
lost a few. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say they never get covered because I've seen them get covered, right? Or moved.
Yeah, anytime they get moved, that's bad. Or removed, you just lose the point of reference entirely. You
Yeah,
need at
those
least
black and white squares are ground control points. That's what
Yeah.
they call
So
them.
if there's any SpaceX workers happening to watch our show, don't touch that. Like, I
Don't
know
touch.
you're like, just don't do it.
So
it's a great reference.
Rob Shaw asks, is this the assisted GPS? He forgot the real name.
Mm,
I'm
I don't know.
assuming what those white things are. Assisted GPS.
But it's basically part of an aerial survey.
Okay.
So those are known points, good known points that have been given.
And
I found one of those and thought it was some trash that somebody had left, like flooring tiles, and I almost moved it before. I think Thomas told me what they were. I was like, oh, I'll better leave it then.
And mind you, Thomas
Yeah.
tells the story from a long time ago that you almost ruined it for everybody because you almost picked up those markers.
Yeah, that's true.
Luckily,
This looks like trash. Let me pick it up. Oh, it's kind of stuck to the ground. Huh, that's strange.
pull on
Wait
it
a
hard.
second. I remember what these are.
We have 27 minutes and 59 seconds left in the show. So I am going to switch us over to some ground shots so that we can take a look through those because I think there's still a bit of them. Mauricio was not able to go to the launch site this week because they had the road shut down. We're going to be mostly looking at build site photos. I was about to say ground photos, but
Hey, I see
You
some
guys already know
speakers on tent 2. You see that just above your mouse?
Hey.
Nice, new speakers.
wait, did they start playing music out loud for the workers because they didn't want them to have to walk around with headphones all the time?
Probably.
I feel like I heard them say
Silent
that.
disco.
They actually just use those to play the beeping noises of backing up trucks, just in case anybody was listening.
But yeah, we'll probably have some more photos of that, so keep on going.
Is the S curve thing in that structure right there? Remember how there's a Superman thing?
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
not.
yeah. What do you call
That'd be
that?
tent 3.
Okay.
And that's the jig or rig for attaching the upper flaps. Man, look at these guys. I bet they're having the time of their lives.
Dude, this is insane. This building is so large. Like, look at
It's huge.
yeah, this is incredible. Hold on, there's gonna be better views of that.
Are they just dangling?
Yeah.
One. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
Very safely. They're tied off, and
this is
They
how
have-
most buildings are constructed.
With dangling.
So those are
This is-
those are the Z girts. So you can see on the right hand side it has that shape of a Z that I mentioned earlier. So Z girt is the official name for those. But he's tied it. No. Just the pieces are going across horizontally.
Oh, these.
Yeah.
How are they making a Z?
The shape of a Z right there. It's kind of now an N, but
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
But they've got 2 points of contact here. So there's the one up above, and then he's got himself tied in directly up above, and actually maybe even a third point. Yeah, that guy on the right showing 3 points.
Right here.
Yeah. So he's got the beltle going around the front, and then he's got one going up. So they both have 3 points of contact at this point.
Yeah, not trying to slip from there. That's for sure.
back in the early days in New York, they just had the one point of contact where their feet touched the girder.
And a wing and a prayer.
That's right.
Pretty much, yeah.
By the way, I want to say congratulations to the safety guys at SpaceX, both for the contractors and the employees. Through all this production, there have been 0 deaths.
Don't jinx us.
No.
Knock on wood.
They have a good safe. Knocking on wood. They have a great safety program from all evidence, and they take it very seriously. So kudos to them for doing that. And if you look at similar projects like building the San Francisco Bridge, it was not the same. We've learned a lot of lessons.
We also just got a super chat from Drop Bear. Drop Bear, you are our favorite. He has donated $50 and he says, I really appreciate the effort you guys go to. Amazing photos and analysis. Cheers.
Thank you, Drop Bear. Wow, consistently every week, man, you're the best. RGV,
And by the way,
if you ever see this guy, I think you owe him a beer.
oh yeah, I do. Anytime. And just an FYI, an update on the boot fund. I already bought some, and they
right.
work amazing. I've been out in the they're extremely waterproof, so my feet don't get wet, and
I
therefore
feel
I
like
don't
you
get.
need to post a picture, Mauricio.
I should. I will.
Are
I
they
will.
white? They're not white, are they?
Pixar didn't happen.
You know what?
Please say they're not white.
They're actually
What?
brown.
Oh, thank God.
Mauricio, I'm so
Well done, sir.
disappointed. You could have had the
Everything's better
white
with
boots.
brown.
I want some of these. I like those boots.
They're actually similar to those, but they're waterproof.
He even rolled he rolled these up so that we would see them.
Well, no, he's even tucked his. Okay, you can see that he's
Look at
tucked
him
his.
posing over his shoulder, his right shoulder. He's like, yeah, check the boots.
But no, like check out his
What
pants.
are
He's tucked
those?
in his pants a little bit into his boots so that they're not catching on stuff.
Yep.
Oh, I thought that was so that we would see the boots.
I thought the
Sorry.
harness was too tight.
Oops. Nah.
Oh my gosh,
you
the
want that
guy
to-
on the right. What is going on there?
Yeah, what is he doing? Taking a break.
He's contemplating
dead?
life.
Wow.
He's trying to figure out what he's about to do.
Oh my god!
He looks like he's going to do the run where
That's his back, but like
That's his
the
back?
way, yeah, that's
Is he
his
napping?
back. But
Oh.
no, like he's looking up and he's leaning back. But
Oh.
the thing is, like at first, it looks like he's looking down and this is forward.
He looks like a mannequin.
Oh wow, that position and just the way that it crops it just right with that beam. Oh wow.
GB, you just broke Thomas. Good job.
Oh,
Thank you.
That broke me. Man, I want to set that as my wallpaper, honestly.
What? After all
Just
of the images,
Zoom
that
back out. It
Mauricio
looks
has-
even better at that point.
I don't want to post this. I don't want to get him in trouble, but he's safe, right?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
got like 3
yeah.
points
All
of
right, we
contact.
can post
so
this.
Screenshot capture. Screen capture.
I'm gonna have to do it later because I've been focusing on making sure I'm capturing the logos and whatnot because I used to move really quickly and
Mhm.
wasn't putting logos in, so now I don't post anything without logos. So I'll add
Well
that later.
done, GB.
Yeah, every day,
Yeah.
every week, you got to get better. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Okay. And I was gonna add them right now. I said I wasn't going to as I opened up Adobe Illustrator. Sold myself out on that one, guys. Anyways,
awesome reflection there.
Oh,
it looks
wow.
like what is that?
Yeah,
It's
what
a
is it?
crane.
What?
That's the top of a
How's
crane.
it a reflection of a crane?
Look, it's got the windmill vane and all the other stuff on the top of a crane.
Yep,
It's
yep,
just
you're right.
it's
How are you
just
making
spread
that up?
out. No. And look, there's the wheelchair on the left.
You're right. You're right.
How do they
That is
get a
good.
wheelchair ramp up there?
That's
No, it's
ADA
just
compliant.
it's not a wheelchair. It just looks like the
No, I
wheels on a
know.
wheelchair.
Just in case GPJ, you didn't know.
No, I was the one who posted on Twitter the wheelchair accessible grid fin.
Oh yeah.
That was
Didn't you get a Marcus House retweet for that too? That
I
was your
did.
first one.
That was my first one. That's the one that got me
That's
started
monumental.
on Twitter.
Okay, I don't like that where this rain pipe is going to. It just goes nowhere, just right on this deck. What?
Look,
pipe,
after
this one?
after
Oh,
a
yeah.
hard day, it gives you a chance to shower off.
Oh my God! You just like, can you imagine walking out of the door of the Highbay and then just getting drenched immediately because it's like,
No.
What they should do
oops,
is
sorry. I need that though. I didn't mean to go back.
So what they do need is that that pipe should go down and then to the left at the edge of the door, and then it goes over back to the right where the rest of the pipe's at. That way you're not
Thomas,
blocking the window.
it's an homage to the pipe that went to nowhere in the original Starships, remember?
Yes, and that happened to be a lock stump, and it
Mhm.
really went to nowhere because
Mhm.
it's dumping the locks.
They're thinking of you. This is the homage to that pipe.
The rain gutter to nowhere. Well, this one just is worse.
Yeah, that's feels like a hazard. That's how you slip and fall. Water just
Till you're all
pouring out
wet.
there. Oh man.
But
She's
yeah,
getting
that
dusty.
this guy is been sitting there for a while. This is for the integrating the booster to any of the normal test stands, and the piece below that is currently being used as a jig. But that was the original transport stands for the booster. It was massive. So if you want to scroll back out to show that that object, there's some trapezoid pieces that are missing off of this. That basically would make this thing about twice the size that it currently is.
Wait,
And that's the
you
base.
said transport stand for the booster?
Yep, that was the original transport stand for the booster. That was its original intended
No,
purpose.
this was the it was first used for the Max Q nose cone. I don't think they ever used this as a transport stand.
So it was used for the Max Q nose cone tests, but that was after they decided to go a different direction, and the current transport stands is that other direction.
Can they use this as a puck shucker, potentially for booster?
Potentially, but it's only for the center areas on this one. If you
Oh,
if you
okay.
did it that way, it's not really tall enough for any of that, so it's really would be too wonky at this point.
And there was a question asking what the puck shucker does.
Okay, so the puck shucker puts pressure on where the engines mount to directly to simulate the thrust from the engines, allowing you to, instead of having the Raptors do it, you just have the hydraulic pressure pressing onto those points. That way, if you're going to have a structural failure, it doesn't happen when you have Raptors on board.
Yeah. Like you did on the ship.
Hey, I recognize Booster 6 and 2.1's behind it.
Man, Thomas, you're so good at this. I'm always amazed at how you remember which one is which.
It's the stringers at the bottom. They're extra
Yeah.
long.
I like that he can see both of them because it's almost an optical illusion.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And it looks like the Team Space logo with that clamshell.
The danger thing is actually new. I don't know what that's all about.
So
The
here we
sign that
got
says danger.
Yeah.
here we have the
Where
guy
is
that
this?
drew the short straw.
Looks like they're installing some culverts, but this is the guys installing that that brand new 6 pads for the Starship over at Sanchez.
Oh, yeah, I can see it now. Yep. Those are the blocks for. Let's see if I can bring that back up quickly. Actually, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
just move
staging
on.
pad. Basically, ship 15 is up here, and oh yeah, you can see it, right? Okay. I
That's
guess my
Booster 5.
slideshow decided to move me on for me.
It's saying move it along, move it along.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay. Maybe I should just let the slideshow like do its thing, right? That'd be fun,
Mhm.
actually. Thomas, 5, 4. No, why? That's not enough time, honestly. Widebay.
Oh, okay, we could just say what we see. All right, we've got the RV park full of RVs, brand new
Airstreams.
AstroTurf Airstreams. Yes.
Yeah, we got an Airstream park here that they just finished.
Those
Oh,
things
is
really-
that
Hey,
what
that's
is
for
that?
the
That's
that
the
is
measuring.
projector.
it's for the
one of the
presentation
projector
launch
lights.
site.
Oh, it's not the thing that measures
Dang.
the distance like it did when we were looking at OLM over there at the.
No, those are the That's the Batman symbol.
Yep, that's
Oh.
also the green fuel or yellow or whatever that was and blue.
Right.
That's one of those.
Right. This
They
was
just-
used in the This was used in the presentation. It was lit up, the Starship 15.
Oh.
Yeah, it was on. I think it was on 15. Not really sure.
That was a
That's
fun
legit.
game.
What color was 15? Did they color it?
I think they
Ship
just lit
22
them up.
or Ship 22. The Franken rocket here.
Are you ready for the rapid? I'm going to unpause, okay? Go.
All right.
Yeah, Ship 22
there's
doing Ship 22
so
things.
many details there. Okay.
Yeah, these are the close-up details. I'm going to pause it for you because I can tell.
Yes. Yes. I mean, you've got from left to right, you've got your electrical and data lines, and then you've got all of your, let's say, pressure lines, as well as looks like some pneumatics or pipes for pneumatics.
In my
But
opinion,
that's
it's very clear that there will be a full cover over this.
That's your crow, right, GB?
I mean, these are the brackets for it.
But you're saying a whole raceway. They'll cover that whole raceway,
Yeah,
right?
of course. Yeah. I mean, wouldn't you want to see
I
that? Wouldn't you want them to cover it?
I think
it'd be
they're only
good.
going to cover the left half if they're going to cover anything, and that's just going to be the power and data lines.
Some people are saying they're already covered, and that's as covered as they'll be.
So the left side is actually power and data, so it's not covered at all. They did
the
have them
silver
on
ones.
other ships. Other ships, yes. On Ship 20, they put it in pipe. These ones aren't in pipe unless this is pipe covered in some sort of insulator. Those are the pneumatics, and I'm misreading that. Because there's some really weird bends in that red stuff here. Those are probably the pneumatics.
You're talking about
that
these?
is. No. Look down, just down a little bit to the left. You see how it bends? Oh, up a little bit. Yeah, see how it bends in, goes up, and then bends back. Yeah, that looks like pneumatics. And those are flex joints with the pneumatics. So expansion, contraction will occur a little bit. Vibration, it helps remove that by doing this little U shape.
Yeah.
And is the well doubler on the left, is that the one that you were saying doesn't go touching all the proper sides of the ring?
So go above that. So you can see that it goes down, but it doesn't go all the way up. So that's a 6-foot ring, and it's only covering about 4 feet. The last
Why would they
2
do
feet. Well, because it's the tank. This is the tank versus the
header tank?
section of. No. This is the. Scroll out a little bit. Make sure I've got this right. That looks like it's the. That's the barrel section above it. So
Yeah, this is
Nosecone goes on
the
it.
common dome, right?
No.
Or is this
This is the top of the LOX tank. I'm sorry, methane tank. Woof.
Top of the methane tank.
Yes.
Dang, this thing looks so much different. Everybody's hating on me right now. Like, what do you mean? You didn't know they changed it? I'm like, no, dude, I'm a stage 0 kind of guy. Like,
You've
this is
said it
blowing
from
my
the
mind.
beginning.
Yeah, but it's fine. This is extra why we needed Thomas, so he can explain this stuff, because I'm just oblivious.
And they've got the Ullage vents on this thing. Oh, I love those.
Is that these?
No, those are radio communications.
These?
That's a vent for like methane or other things. But that's a Ullage vent. Yeah.
Just the regular vent?
Yep.
Okay.
They below have the Ullage thrusters. Those look like the little nose coming off of it.
Those are the ones that have the little half covers on them?
Yeah, not this one. That's the FTS. And that plate is upside down currently.
They just mounted it up like that so that they didn't have to.
Yeah, and they just take out 2 bolts and then flip it around, and it's there. So right now it's upside down. But that's for the flight termination system. Yes, I said it.
This is how you make a starship disappear.
I thought the aliens did that.
Oh wow, this is new. They haven't done this on the Starship yet, right?
Thruster.
This is a Tim Dodd improvement special. Yeah, that's a Ullage thruster right there. That's the little nose look to it that I talked about. So they take the Ullage gas and they use it to their benefit of propelling the vehicle in a certain direction, which is kind of through the center of mass of where this is at here. So it might rotate the vehicle a little bit.
So it looks like for the first time tonight, the amount of people watching equals the amount of likes that we have, which is amazing. Thank you guys. This is, like I said, we haven't gotten over 600 before, and this is also the fact that it's just stayed there ever since it got there is really awesome. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying this stuff, and we have 9 minutes and 34 seconds left. So I'm gonna engage the timer,
All right.
and I'll let Thomas
So-
stop
What does
me.
that
I'm
mean?
gonna let this is the
Speed
Thomas
round?
speed moment. Speed round.
All
Oh,
right.
okay. Good luck, Thomas.
So
If you don't
he's
have
doing a
anything
bunch
to
of
say, I
stuff.
let it keep going. But you
Okay.
did.
Yes, you as soon as I go say something. But yeah, that's the a sensor there. That's just in the middle of the screen going to there. So you're looking at actually that might even be pneumatics. Sorry, it's thin enough that could be pneumatics as well.
Right, because they usually neck down with pneumatics before they
Yeah.
yeah. It goes from being like a large coming off a large pipe to like a super small one.
But yeah, it's all protected. We
Mhm.
could go to the next one there too.
Speed round, GB. Speed round.
Speed round. Okay.
Oh wow.
Okay,
we
this one you
jump
can't go past this one. That's a booster
What
section on the
is
left.
okay? What about is that
That's just
the
stringers for a
forward
booster.
dome?
E8, potentially.
Yeah, it looks like 8 or
Forward.
yeah, and
That
you've got
looks
the hole for the
nice.
grid fin to the right.
I want to touch that like a top. Like,
But to the left, that is the thing that's the nice part. Look to the left. Look at all those details there. Mauricio got a great shot of what's going on here. So you can already see that they're pre-wiring a lot of this stuff as much as they can. So you're looking at all the wiring looms and
yeah.
oh, that looks great. Maybe
See, this is one of the
pneumatic.
things that like people have been so frustrated with. They're like, "Oh, the build site, nothing's happening anymore. They're not moving rings. They're not flipping things anymore." Yes, I'm talking to you, Mauser. And they're instead doing a lot of this stuff inside the tents that they used to do on boom lifts outside, where they're installing all of the connectors for the electronics, and they're building like all the raceways for the instead of the wiring that they usually lift up one by one. They're doing all of that inside the tent so that they're like actually getting it to production status. Like that's how you would do things. You know what I mean? You pre-install everything you can, and all you have to do is connect it together once you get it installed. You know,
Yeah, see all the
they're
pipes? They just
starting
end.
to
So
get to
there's a pipe right
manufacturing
there,
level actually.
and then a pipe to your right that they just end, so that you just need to put in one or two more
Exactly.
segments.
Yep. Yeah. This is manufacturing. What they were doing before was experimentation. In my opinion, what's happening right now is preparation for manufacturing because, as Elon said in his um, update from yesterday, Florida is going to be used for production and what I mean by that is regular operations. So all of your customer launches are going to happen from I see Mauser's reaction. All your customer launches are going to happen from KSC, and all of your research and development launches are going to happen from Starbase, right? So, to me, this looks like the kind of things you do when you're preparing for building or setting up your tooling for a production facility in Florida. So they're starting to figure out like what do we need to do in order to mass produce these, and this to me is a mass production pathfinder for how they need to what steps at what booths are they going to complete at in Florida, like how are they going to lay out that building is based on what steps what additions they're going to make at what steps within that process, if that makes sense. This is really hard to explain, but I'm
Jim
trying.
did it.
Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I mean, you're just doing pre-manufacturing stuff right here, in my opinion.
Which makes sense. They're
Yeah,
prepping everything for
because
mass
in
production.
here, yeah, in this building, they've replaced all of these gantry cranes, like all of the everything. They've replaced all of them multiple times. Like in Florida, you don't want to do that. You just want to have, okay, like booster version 1, like this is booster version 1. And then you mass produce booster version 1 while at Starbase you continue to develop 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 all the way until you're finally ready for booster 2 to come out. And then by the time that happens, you already have a fleet of flyable boosters. So you're not worried about losing your manufacturing. You like, okay, we're shutting down manufacturing so we can do retooling. We got to change all of our equipment out so that we can mass produce this version of Starship and the booster here. And then you do that until the next air quotes iPhone update is ready to go. You know what I mean? Because the iPhone update for SpaceX requires redoing all of their manufacturing buildings. Every laser point, every welding machine, every measuring device, everything has to get resituated in those. You know what I mean? So it's a big deal.
What
You
are
only
you
want to do
changing
it.
that you're changing everything out? I would have to disagree on that one.
Yeah, it's called retooling. It's just it's retooling.
Yeah, you do have some retooling, but from what I've seen at SpaceX, they do the minimal amount of retooling as possible, and that's actually a really big benefit because the jigs that they create and make are inexpensive, but in general, jigs are extremely expensive. They're doing an inexpensive jig. We've seen the ones that they've done for the domes. That particular jig is being used over and over again in so many different configurations. It is incredible that they're using one jig for all of that. And the retooling, we do see a little bit of this, but it is little bits at a time, not whole, factory re-layout. We'll probably see that with Florida, that they go for all the nice stuff.
They would do in Florida. You have to do the entire factory at one time. You know what I mean? You update the entire factory. So if you go from 6 engines on the Starship to 9 engines, all of the changes that are required as far as electronics, the actual jigs that are required to place the engines up under there, the jigs that are required to weld on the attachment points, all of that stuff changes at the same time. They don't phase that out. You do all of it at once. Like here, they're phasing things in and out because they can.
What's the
when
next
you're doing
image?
mass
You got
production,
about 4 minutes left here.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, that was the one time we did that today, Thomas, where we went on a long tangent. Luckily, nobody told us.
The one time?
PNW nuts speed round spends 10 minutes on one
Peanut's
photo.
funny.
All right, called me out.
It's good that they're getting to know you, GB, like we do.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm sorry, guys. I try my best.
You do it
Hey,
well.
Thomas did it with me.
It's
He did it with me.
I only chipped in less than 30 seconds there.
Otherwise,
These
it's a master rabbit hole diver.
These are beautiful stairs. I wish that they would replace my stairs in the building I live in with these ones. Actually,
they have no hand railings yet, so
no. Look at that.
Still wouldn't
There's
be
hand
able to
railings
use
right there.
okay, above it, there's none. Right there, yes, but go up one, and yeah, you're no longer ADA compliant. You're no longer anything compliant. This is
You're
bad.
hoping you're strapped in. GB, you wouldn't use the stairs anyways. How would you go up and down them with the hoverboard?
You're right. I'll take the elevator. But for everybody else, it's good to have. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He'll take those stairs very quickly with the hoverboard. That's how.
Wow. I just love looking at how big these Widebay sections are, because then you have to imagine the crane lifting them all at once.
So are we moving from stage 0 to Widebay lever?
No, we are doing the
You know how Zach is.
Fickle? I'm just kidding.
He likes the Widebay.
Who doesn't love a Widebay? Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, I like that picture.
I wonder if Mauricio has those other ones too. Yeah, the inside of that.
Yeah. All right, we're hitting up on a minute left.
So while I'm going through these, we should start going through our ending credits and thank yous and whatnot.
Yeah. Do we have any super chats we haven't gotten to? I mean, I really want to thank everybody who donated today, everybody who watched it. Y'all have been amazing. Thank you for making this show, and Mauricio is successful, and thank you, Mauricio, for
helping. Look how big this thing is, dude.
I know. The guy's like, I'm in a really big bathtub.
Well, they use people for size. No more bananas.
That is insane. I've seen it so many times, but every time it's like, wow.
Wow.
Jack in the Tank. You were saying thank you to Mauricio.
Yeah, thanks, Mauricio, for going out there every day and capturing these giant bathtubs. And dude. All right, so y'all, this guy goes out, he flies, he arranges everything. He drives out 40 minutes plus to get there, takes all these pictures, has all this photography equipment. And the guy slept out in his truck to get the pictures and the stack and all that. I mean, dude, hats off to you, Mauricio. You're the best, man. We really appreciate everything you do. We couldn't be here without you, man.
We wouldn't have anywhere near the knowledge we have if it weren't for you. What did they do to the nose cones? Why did they look like they're wrapped?
I looked away for a split second. Which one are you talking about?
Those two? Oh, they're
There's
not.
nothing different
Optical
about those.
illusion.
It's just
Yep,
stainless
you're
steel
right.
and
My bad. Me eyes
lighting.
getting old. That's unique.
Yeah, he's crawling onto the walkway. Oh, so we got new antennas popped up. They're not thrusters, they're antennas.
We're over our time limit, guys.
So stay tuned for next Saturday because we'll have more.
Next Saturday, noon to 3.
Thank you, all of you, for being here. There's still 539 people in here. We love all of you. We got to keep our time consistent because, everybody still has lives and it's Saturday. So all of you guys need to get out there and live your lives as well, too. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you, Thomas, Indian Star, DPJ, Mauricio, for being commentators and helping us out with just keeping people entertained. Oh, yeah. And I got to thank that guy.
I can thank that guy.
Thank you, GB.
All of our production team, we have all of them listed in our ending credits. So want to give a huge shout out to all of them for the work that they put in behind the scenes. Thank you guys, especially for being here and liking the stream and participating in the chat. That is always amazing. The amount of support that Mauricio has been getting lately in order to keep allowing him to do these flyovers is, just out of this world. You know what I mean? Like, I am really hoping we reach the point where he's able to do 2 flyovers a week. That would be amazing.
Weather permitting.
Yes, weather permitting. And
by
maybe that
himself?
second flyover would probably be in Florida, I'd have to imagine.
Oh.
So, I don't know. It's going to take some extra help in order to make a second one happen, I imagine. So, if you guys are willing to donate towards that, it just goes towards the betterment of the channel. And, we really appreciate you guys for helping out with that goal. So,
yay.
With that being said, Mauricio, did you have any final words?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
Final words?
My headset died, so I'm using my cell phone. So I appreciate everything, all the donations, all the memberships, and the Patreons. That's really the only reason how we're able to make this happen with all the donations and support. And if you can't support, there's really not an issue. Like the stream, subscribe, and I appreciate all of you, the production team as well. Anything else? Who's Grandpa Joe, Thomas?
All right. Main engine cut off.
Thank you.
Stage separation confirmed. Love you. Bye.